Welcome, everyone. Welcome, hello. Welcome to episode 14 of City of Light and Shadow, a Fate French resistance campaign jammed by yours truly. And today is a solo episode. It's one of our 4 solo episodes. Normally, we're all in a big group of French resistors, but each player gets their own solo episode because the way of the resistance often involves doing things by yourself, and some of those things are very mundane. They're just getting food or picking up things, and there's always the danger of walking on the streets of Paris because you never know if you will be rounded up or if somebody will not believe your paperwork. And so having a little bit of a moment for our players to have some personal time and to explore the things they need to do is, I think, great. So this is our last solo episode for the season. And before I get into it, I want to say how you can support us. So, first off, welcome to the channel. Ooh, I swallowed wrong. Okay, wait. Okay. So, the best way you can support us is by being here and watching the show. That's it. You can then, if you want to host or retweet that we're live, that's also very helpful. The more people we have watching it, just, the cooler it is, so thank you. You can also, if you like, give us tips and bits, and I think nowadays in the new Twitch UE thing, it's down here, perhaps. Any messages you give us during those tips and bits, we will read out that somewhere, so we'll read it out, so that'll be fine. What else? Oh yeah, we also have a Patreon. So there's a Patreon just specifically for, I think we just have liquid in my lungs. It's really good. Don't even worry about it. For RPGs.
Are you okay, Trooper? Do we need to?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Does everyone need to be on high alert?
Maybe. Okay. There's a Patreon specifically for RPGs on my channel because it's really important for me to pay the cast of these particular kinds of RPGs because they work so hard, and also to pay the composer who made our theme song, Lizard Eats Flies, also Frithiel, who's done all of our overlays and promo stuff. So that was great. So that's how you can support us. And there's one other way to support, which has already been taken up, but I want to tell you what it is. This channel has channel points. They're called extra credits because I am an academic nerd, and that's how my life is. For 5,000 extra credits, you can give the team support in the form of fate points. This is a fate point system. This is fate. And they get fate points, which they can use to sort of boost up their rolls or re-roll or add a detail to the story, change things up. However, regular fate gives them a lot of fate points, and I don't.
This is a brutal game of fate.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, but I actually like it better. If I can just interject there for a second. I actually do like the minimalist feel of this particular fate system that you've been running.
Thank you.
Especially in such a game where you need every point to survive.
Yep.
Everything matters.
Yep. Everything matters.
So much more. Yeah.
And I want that feel. I wanted that feeling where everything matters, where you it's the skin of your teeth. And because I'm a little cruel to them, you all have the ability to use your extra credits to give them fate points, a maximum of 4, and that represents support from London. And right now they still have support from London at the moment. London has not cut them off. And I want to let you know about the 4 support. We have support from Rissa, who has donated a fate point to our crew.
Thank you, Rissa. It will probably be used in the first 10 minutes.
Coldrake has supported with 2 fate points.
Thank you.
And Red Kite has given you your last fate point, which means you have 5 group fate points and 1 of your own. And in case you want to know, all of the fate points were used in Regina's solo session, in case you didn't see it. All of them. She used them all.
Good for her, though.
She needed them.
Is she still alive? Can you tell me that?
What does that mean, alive? You know?
What does it mean? Like, I don't mean on an emotional scale. I don't mean as an existential crisis type of thing.
Oh.
I mean, is she a living, breathing person?
Oh, that's an easier question to answer.
Or did this turn into a zombie game?
I suppose you'll have to find out next Friday, huh? To see if she shows up. To see if she shows up to the cabaret.
We'll see if she shows up.
So, in this particular game, our heroes are French resistors. It's 1941, and they are all people who work at a nightclub called Bricktops. So they're all kind of cabaret folks, and they started off wanting to liberate art. And they ended up somewhere slightly different as the consequences of working in the resistance have come home to them. And I feel like we should just have you introduce yourself. Who are you and who do you play?
Okay. Well, my name is James Stiver. You can find me in such podcasts as Loot and Dagger, Stellar Arcanum, and North by Northwest. Outside of that, I think the only stream I've ever really done is your stream and Little Red Dots. So I don't stream often, but I love streaming. So if anybody's listening out there who has their own stream, hey, hit me up. I like doing it. But you don't care about any of that crap. What you care about is the man in the banana shirt.
Yes.
Which is Tango. And Tango is... let me go back to my description because that's even better than what I could tell you. He's an SOE trained, roguish American black marketeer. So, and earlier in his life, before this game really started, he was into black market sales. He didn't really care about one side or the other, or good and bad. He just cared about money and being the life of the party. That was Tango. Until he got into a little bit of trouble and was, we'll say, exported to Paris and drop shipped right into the middle of Nazi-occupied Paris, where he's supposed to be making a difference. And his attitude in life has just changed dramatically. So, but that is...
And I'm sure your past will not come back to haunt you.
Never does. It never does. What you do in your past stays in the past.
Right? Just like Vegas.
We just live in the present, my friend. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Here in Tango Land.
What are these notes I have? Interesting. So,
also to everyone in chat, just want to let you know, cheers. It's been a long week, and I think everybody needs a few good laughs and maybe a drink. And that's a good story told.
And I suppose before we start, I just want to say this. Last night, we did this really big fundraiser and for the bail project, which pays people's bail so they can be at home before their trial rather than in a place with a lot of COVID in dangerous spots. And because a lot of people are poor and cannot pay bail, and we're at a moment right now where there are a lot of protesters running around, and this sort of helps that. And we raised $10,000 in 4 hours, which I thought we'd raise 500 maybe, is what I thought. I was like, I don't know, maybe we'll make 500. But
that is an unreal amount of money.
Yeah.
That is amazing to see people opening up like that.
And that campaign is still on. So if you want to support the bail project, I just dropped the link right there if you want to do so. So again, that is always open. And I will just say, this campaign, City of Light and Shadow, is really important to me, and it's been important to me. It's a campaign that I have wanted to run since 1988, but I was just looking for the right players. And Cyber is one of those players, so I'm very happy to have met him, because, I mean, if I hadn't met him, then I'd be like, oh, I can't even run this show.
It took me.
Yeah, that was it.
So, it would have been fine with somebody else, but I appreciate you asking me to be a part.
And one of the things is I think it's really important because I've always been moved by members of the resistance, people who were just everyday people, you know, grandmothers and students and all sorts of regular people who stood up against injustice when it was very difficult to do so, when it seemed like the forces arrayed against them were too overwhelming, and it would be easy just to either not do anything at all or feel too demoralized. And I just think that something, a show like this always seems to me important. And so I want to thank you all for coming along this journey with all of the cast for this show. And also, I have a present for the cast members, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. I mean, I will tell you all, but I'll probably tell you one of my streams when they're not here.
Why would you do that?
Give you a present?
No, I mean, surprises. I don't like surprises.
You haven't given me your mailing address yet, so I can't mail your surprise. You got to give that to me.
Oh, I thought it's all in the, you know what? We'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about
Not
it.
important.
All right.
I'll just give it out to the entire internet.
Just get to the whole internet. It's fine, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
So, we are going to begin our game on Sunday. Sunday, May the 18th, 1941. It has been a week. It was a week ago to the day, right after a full moon, that Tango was airdropped into Paris, well, right outside of Paris, and brought into Bricktops. They themselves were a sort of a motley crew of people that had no sort of official connection to London. And Tango, our brash American who was given some SOE training, was dropped off to sort of give them support, whip them into shape. And in that week, they have killed the head of German intelligence. They killed a Gestapo agent who was coming in to hunt them. They killed... Well, that's a spoiler that Cyber doesn't know about. Someone else.
What?
Yeah, don't worry about it.
What?
There was just
Who else did I kill?
No, you didn't kill anyone else, but there was some murder. Okay. There was some murder that happened.
I also gassed some people to death. I'm pretty sure about that.
There was also some gassing. But they've learned about the existence of an experimental chemical weapon that they're trying to find out about. They've dealt with a lot of sort of backlash and trouble. Mm-hmm. Now, usually at the beginning of each day, the forces arrayed against them. I've sort of created a faction system for this campaign. The forces arrayed against them, in this case, the Nazis, make some sort of attack. At this moment, they're torturing one of their former acquaintances for information. And Dot took that attack for you, so you don't have to deal with it today, because it's like once a day, and she dealt with that for you.
Suspicious, but thankful.
Oh yeah, she said take that hit,
which is my natural state, actually.
But it's a Sunday morning now. If I remember correctly, Tango, the day before, murdered someone for the very first time in his entire life. The Gestapo woman was escaping and was going to escape with a lot of information about all of you. And you ran out onto the street and shot her in the back of the head.
And it couldn't be worse, because not only did I shoot her in the back of the head, I think the gore sprayed against an elderly woman. And Regina. It's Regina.
Well, it's Regina.
Regina.
Yeah,
I'll never be able to do that.
You can do it. Regina. It's fine.
I have low self-esteem. I'll never be able to do it. So Regina took care of that, and that is also disturbing. There's a lot of things disturbing, so he's going through a lot of psychological trauma over shooting this woman, even though she was obviously going to do more harm if she had gotten away.
And it is a Sunday morning, the day after this thing has happened. And actually, I don't think that Tango knows Regina killed the little old lady, because I think he was not there at the time.
I guess I know. I think, but I guess in the oil painting stillness of the moment, that elderly woman still looked at him and were with the gore on her face and the dead bodies laying on the street. So Yeah, I think that's probably the dream he had. Just
Yeah.
this very lucid, very vivid oil painting that's just coalescing into the moment, and he probably just wakes up screaming.
Hmm.
Or you know what? Maybe not screaming. I don't think he's a wake up screamer. I think he's more of a wake up sobber. So he's probably just sobbing silently to himself.
Hmm. So I have to ask you a question because I like to ask people questions.
As we
Um,
do.
as we do, here's my question for you.
Yeah.
Where does your mother think you are?
Oh.
Hmm.
You know, I told a fib to my dear mother. Yeah. For those who aren't aware, Tango is a bit of a mama's boy. I think his mother is probably the only person he's ever, truly respected his entire life. And he has hidden her from all the shady dealings of his life. I think he told her he was going to be joining the military. And well, at this point, the Americans have not joined.
They have
They have
not joined
not
the
done
war yet.
anything.
So it's
So
so it's kind of like so if you remember Mustang, that you met the American flyer who
mhm,
was sort of shot down. He had joined the Canadian military because he wanted to fly, and the U.S.
mhm.
was not yet in the war. So there's a lot
Yeah,
of sort of there are a number of Americans who really want to get involved, and so they're kind of moving in through slightly different modes
I
because they
I
don't.
think the big fib that just keeps getting bigger and
Mm,
he can't seem to control is that he keeps telling her he's more and more important in the American military.
mm,
And I think he's the last thing he's told her is he's going to be on a secret mission for a while. And so his mother has no clue where he's at,
mm.
but she's very proud of her 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 boy being such a high-ranking and secretive member of the military.
When was the last time you spoke to her?
Mm. I think once he got into SOE training, and I
Mm,
think that when he knew he was going to be dropped off into Paris,
mm-hmm.
he probably made I think he made a phone call. I think he went to a payphone or something, and it was. I'd like to think that maybe even just for the spirit of role play here, he wasn't even able to talk to her.
Mm,
It was a message that he left,
mm-hmm.
and that message was basically like, "Mom, I'm going to be gone for a while, and it'll be a dangerous mission, but I love you, and I'll give you the world when I come back." Because his mother doesn't have much.
Yeah. I kind of guessed that she didn't.
Hmm.
And I imagine when you called, probably because at this point in time, the way that phone lines worked, you probably had to sort of leave a message with the operator, especially if you were
Yes,
overseas, who would then sort of pass that message along once.
right, and it's probably how things worked,
Yeah,
like when you're overseas and
yeah,
you have to pass some messages
yeah.
along.
If the operator can connect you, then you can have that, but maybe not. Usually, what they would do is you'd tell the operator you want to have a connection, and then they would ring you back. But if
Yeah,
you were not on a phone that was yours, you would have to just give that message.
yeah. So that was the message I gave.
Yeah. So it's a Sunday morning. How early do you get up? I imagine Sylvie is there, probably still sleeping.
Yeah,
You know
we'll
she
say
likes to sleep in.
Sylvie, she likes to sleep in. I think today specifically. Now, usually Tango's not an early riser. He's a
Mm-hmm.
late partier
Yeah.
who wakes up when his body lets him wake up. But I think today he's woken up probably as the sun is rising, and and he was probably real quiet to Sylvie and probably very distant. And I believe that he's just left Sylvie there in the bed, and he's just gone out, looked out the window, and really not looking at anything in particular, but thinking through everything, the entire situation, everything that's gone on.
So are you walking through the streets of the city?
I think at this point, yeah, I think he puts on his banana shirt. He and he doesn't particularly have, whereas yesterday everything was fresh and
Mm,
with his friends around, or companions around, he's a little bit better at trying to steer into different directions, and a little more focused. When it's just him, it's a bit more chaos, and it's a
mm,
bit just at this point, we'll say he's walking the streets. No real plan. Only he knows of maybe two things that he'd like to be doing. He knows he wants to get explosives, but for what reason? Well, explosives.
Team Chaos.
Because Team Chaos, and he wants to blow some shit up. And if he can't blow some shit up, then maybe someone else on the team can help him blow some shit up. So he's waiting for his contacts to come through with explosives. But he's also put in a call to look up the Hawk, who he feels may have more information on the general going-ons of the resistance or the Nazis as a whole.
Now, if you want to find about that, you sent off a message to Falstaff. You sort of dropped off a message in a book in the library, which is your sort of regular drop-off point with him.
Yeah, I think I could go search for that book and see if he's left any messages back.
The library is this sort of beautiful library that sort of was probably some sort of fancy building at one point in time. It's one of those kind of like large vaulted ceilings with rows of books and sort of different wings. It's a sort of big major library, and lots of students come here and study. It's one of those really kind of, those kind of sort of older libraries that are just really beautiful, that you're like, with huge windows. And when you walk in there, you walk in.
I like the idea that it's still early in the morning and the sunlight is beaming down. Yeah, I love it.
And what you don't notice is that you pass by Regina as she's leaving. You don't happen to see her as you're going in. You sort of take a turn in a corner.
That's for the audience.
For the audience. Yeah. You don't see it, but she has been here in the library, and you two just passed this space.
Yeah. Okay.
And you go to the sort of section of the library, the book where Falstaff is going to leave messages for you, because it's a different spot of the library than he does for Regina, because it's important to sort of keep these things separate, just in case somebody gets caught. It doesn't compromise everything. And you go into the book. It is a book on plant, like botany. It's a botany book that's also not current, but also not historical enough to be interesting, like in a section of the library
it's meant to be invisible.
It's meant to be invisible.
It's an invisible topic.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. I care, apparently, because I'm looking at it, perusing it. So I look through the book. I peruse it.
And you sort of go through, and stuck in between two leaves of the book, sort of deep in there, in the section about bananas, there is like a very small little note with like small little cramped handwriting, the little messages, like a little scrap of paper that you could easily miss if you were flinging through, if you weren't thinking about it. And it says simply, meeting with the Hawk, Cafe Un, noon.
Cafe Un, noon. Say to myself, all right, Hawk, we'll see what you're all about. I think for a moment, hold on.
And you're the only one who's ever met him in the team. You're the only one who's ever met him.
Yeah, I don't think I even mentioned him too much to the team either. So I closed the book in dramatic fashion, put it back. I take the note. There's a note that I can just take, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to take that, and I still have a lighter, right? And a pack of cigarettes.
Oh, yeah.
Very good. I'm going to
What's your lighter like?
Oh, my lighter? I'd love it if it was very tropical in nature, like had some palm trees on it.
Yeah.
And I look at it and think, when this is all over, I'm going to take a nice vacation somewhere where there's a beach, somewhere I can get a Mai Tai. Yeah, that sounds nice. Nice Mai Tai. Yeah. Maybe I'll get myself a hula skirt and dance around. That sounds great.
Yeah, if you survive the war.
I survived the war. So then I'm going to walk outside, and I'm going to go near a trash can or something.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pull out a cigarette. And before I light my cigarette, I'm going to light the note on fire until it gets to the end of my fingers. I'm just going to let it flutter in the wind. And I'm going to light my cigarette and enjoy the landscape and think, I got till noon. I don't have a gun, do I?
I do not believe you do. Let me know. Wait.
She took my gun and threw it down a
She did.
freaking.
And it wasn't even your gun. It was actually,
Yeah, yeah.
it was Jules' gun, his father's gun.
It was his father's gun.
Yep.
I'd like to go back to the scene.
Okay.
And because that gun is actually very important to both Jules and me, because that was his gift to me. And without it, I couldn't have done what I did. So I want to go back and see if I can find a gun.
You go back to this place, and I'm gonna need awareness from you first. First awareness.
I am so glad you picked one of my lowest skills.
Oh yeah, it's not my fault that you're lowest. Oh, all right. That's
but I
good.
tend to roll really well. I don't know what it is about this game. Every other game in my life, all ones.
Well, hey, you actually have the skill. Many of your team do not have the skill at all, so I don't,
Pays to be aware.
You are walking towards this part of town where Regina used to live. She no longer lives there because you all moved her out of that place really quickly. And as you come towards the street, it is a little bit of a bustling space. It seems that there was some sort of explosion in Regina's apartment, and that seems to have done quite a bit of damage. You were not there for that explosion, but there seems to have been one. There are Nazi trucks in the area. They seem to be sort of doing investigations, sort of forensic investigations on this space. When they see you, one of the guards yells, "You!
Yes.
Your papers!"
Oh, yes. My papers. I will get you my papers, huh? I'm going to hand him my French papers.
He glances at it. Let me make a little roll on his part.
Okay.
Because these are all forged.
Yep. I'm a great forger.
Yep.
Not a forager, but a forger.
A forger. What I mean? And he sort of looks at it and he goes, "All right, you."
What is going on here?
In the truck.
In the truck? Well, what have I done? I have
in the truck.
Oh man. Can I finish this cigarette before I go in the truck?
In the truck.
I don't want to burn the inside of the truck, you see.
He just takes your cigarette, crushes it. And he points towards the truck.
Inside the truck it is, huh? Inside the truck. Huh?
And you get into this truck, and it is not empty. And this is like a transport truck, right? It's like this sort of truck within the back part. It's kind of like a closed, it's like more like a van. And there are 4 people in this truck. You make the 5th person. And they all look like the sort of people who would be awake early in the morning, like somebody selling a newspaper, somebody on their way, and you can see sort of like a young boy with like a sack that he has got newspapers in, and there's a woman who seems to be who has groceries. There seems to be a man who is probably a street cleaner. It seems like he's a working man. So you've got this group of people. There are 5 of you in there, and you're just like people. Like nobody special.
Anyone else here a little worried or upset, huh?
Everybody looks freaked. They don't know what's going on. They don't know that why. And one of them, the woman with her groceries, she says, "My paperwork is fine. I don't know why."
Paperwork is fine, but they put you in here, huh? Well, let's see. And honestly, this is not my first rodeo or my 3rd rodeo now, being contained inside of a truck like this. I think I've gotten used to it. Honestly, it's almost like a little comfort zone now. It's like a little comfort bubble, Trooper. So you're not freaking me out yet.
No. People, sometimes they pick you up for all sorts of reasons. Now, the last time you were picked up, you were all sort of laborers that they wanted you to do sort of work for.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if labor is what they're after right now, considering they're investigating a whole lot of things. But let me see. What I'd like to do, is there in this truck, is there like a little hole where there's the driver and all that stuff?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to poke my base of my eyes over there and like, oh, hello there, my friends. What are we getting into today, huh?
And there are these sort of two German soldiers up front.
I'd like to use my best charisma.
I think you're going to have to, but I just want to let you know that you see these two soldiers. You've never seen them before, and they they seem routine.
Mm-hmm.
They seem routine.
There's some basic soldiers. Is what
yeah. They don't seem particularly special.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'll be like, what is going on today, my friends, huh? We're going for a little joyride? Perhaps a little investigation around, huh? What is happening over here with this building?
And
sorry if I ask a lot of questions. I am a curious cat, you see. Meow.
I feel like you're going to want some kind of rapport here. I feel like this is where you're going. I feel like this is where
empathy?
You're going. Empathy is to figure out what's going on with them.
I know, but it's higher than my rapport.
Give me a rapport first to see how they like you.
Damn it, rapport.
Oh,
Damn it, rapport. And I only got one fate point. No, I'm just going to suck it up. They're not buying what I want to sell.
And they kind of just look at you and they're like, sit and be quiet. It won't be long.
You're not a cat person then, huh? Meow. I'm just going to sit down.
German Shepherd. And then you hear some shouting outside. You hear things like, your papers. And then a sixth person is sort of brought into the van.
Welcome to the party. What is your name, my friend?
And this person is a middle-aged fellow who seems to be just on their way to work, it seemed. Mm-hmm. And he goes, oh, Ernest, what's going on?
I'm going to look over. Have they shut the door yet on the back of the transport truck?
Not yet, because it looks like they're still bringing people into the truck.
Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this guy and quietly talk to him. And try to calm him down, but at the same time, what I want to do is get a sense of the room. If anyone has any, they're like, look, this is pretty serious. Of course, we are very afraid. I'm sure you're as afraid as I am, all of you. Then I just want to know: is anyone here? Does anyone have any? I'm going to look around. Weapons of some sort.
Most of the people there who look like these are just like a motley crew of everyday citizens, and they look a little surprised. And they're like, no, if we did, we would. No.
I would say, and I'm pointing around the entire truck. If you did, now is the time to let me know so we can be on guard, if you would say, in case things go not our way.
And the young kid, the one who was selling the newspapers, he's like, what's the problem? We did not do anything wrong. Everything will be fine.
Yes, we did not do anything wrong. And I'm going to sit next to the kid. And I'm going to kind of put a hand on his shoulder. You're right. Nothing wrong. We should be okay. It's pays to be prepared, no?
Well, I'm not worried. The Germans are our friends.
Are they? Well, then, we're all good, huh? All right, then. I guess everyone sit up. Anyone know a good song to cheer everyone up? Because I know this is a trying time. I'm sure we're just going to go to a party or something.
They bring in a seventh person into the truck. And this person just seems to be a slightly probably an older person just on their walk for the day.
Oh, I have a very important question.
Oh, yes.
Would I... And you're probably just going to ask me, I don't know, would I have a pocket knife at least?
I don't know, would you?
I think SOE trained and just his dealings and whatever. I think he probably has a trusty, sorry, hold on.
He has a cat. He has a cat and also a pocket knife.
My cat just ruined my entire screen. Thanks, cat. Thanks, Shinobi. My cat, not just saying Shinobi out of some kind of weirdness. So I'm just going to... look for my pocket knife, which I think I would have in almost like a secret seam in my pants. Oh, banana shirt.
Banana shirt.
Like just where I can pull it out or something. So I'm just making sure that that's there. It's like, at least I have something. Okay. That could be useful. Anyways, this seventh person enters the fray.
Yes, this is sort of like an older gentleman who seemed like perhaps he was just going about his business for the day, having perhaps a morning talk, and he seems a little bit confused about what's going on. Like, oh, mm, what is going on?
Quick question. Are you a dog person or a cat person? Huh?
Oh, I have birds.
You have birds. Oh, they're not a cat person, huh? The driver's a dog person.
Oh,
Didn't like my cat joke. What are you doing here?
I don't know.
Papers in order, right? Just going to work? Is that the MO?
I was just walking in the morning. What? I don't understand.
None of us do. Well, I have an idea. But you see the building? It's was on. Is it still on fire?
It's no longer on fire, but it looks bad. It looks like there was a not a small explosion that was there.
I am very sure not to make anyone here upset or ruffle any feathers. You see, I believe that they are going to. They're investigating this.
Oh, well, I don't have anything to do with this.
Of course not. Neither do I. Neither does anyone else here, huh?
And then they bring in what looks to you like a mother, a father, and a teenage son in their Sunday best.
Well, welcome. Make room. Come on, everyone. We will. We all need to be real accommodating.
And everybody seems like they don't really understand why they're being brought into this van at all.
Yes.
And once they come in and you have 10 people in this van, the doors are shut.
Doors shut.
And the engine roars to life as you're in this van with 9 other people of all different walks of life.
Yeah, and I imagine there's like places for everyone to sit, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually going to get up in the middle and just hang out there and like maybe put my arm up to make sure I'm balanced. And because I want to be nimble and on the move if I need to be. And I'm just going, but what I'm actually going to be doing is, smiling at people, winking at people, trying to calm people down for the most part.
Give me a rapport and also an empathy.
Okay, rapport first.
Mm-hmm.
Incoming. That's a 0.
Mm-hmm.
Empathy, incoming. That's a 0. I'm not on my game today.
No, the van sort of roars to life and starts moving off through the city. And you're trying to make small talk and trying to figure out where people are. And you are a little off your game. And maybe it's that one little old lady who sort of reminds you of the woman from yesterday.
Yeah, that can't be good. I think when I get to her and the entire facade I build up as Tango kind of crumbles, and I think I just move past her and I get quiet, and suddenly the joke I was telling trying to tell trails off and doesn't land, and everyone's probably seeing that I am just as worried as they are.
And the father sort of just says to his son and his wife, he's like, don't worry, it will be okay. Whatever this is, we will, I'm sure we're just being brought in for questioning, but we did not do anything, it will be all right. Mm-hmm. I'm sure it'll be fine.
And I'm going to look over at the father and then at the wife and did you say daughter or son? Son. I'm going to look over at the son, just kind of wink, it's like, it's going to be fine.
And it's a weird silence in the van as you're driving, and you don't know where you're going to, and no one's asked you any orders. And you have been at this point, I think, in 3 different vans, right? I am no stranger to the back of a van, which is really weird. And I don't know how many back of the vans I've been in before this, like willingly, but wait, that sounds really bad. No, but here's what I would love to do. I would love to now travel to the front again where I can see. I'd like to at least get a gauge of where they're driving. I would like from you, can you give me academics?
I can give you the standard role of someone who doesn't have academics.
Do it.
That's a 1.
Okay, that's fine. This is not super difficult because you know Paris. They're driving you, and you're like, okay, well, where is this place we're going? You're trying to get a sense of of where you're being taken. And you are being taken sort of south. You can tell you're being driven south. And you're sort of wondering, like, where are they taking you? What is going on here? Mm-hmm. And as you're sort of heading south through the city, it looks to you like they're taking you outside of the city, probably to one of the suburbs outside of Paris.
Okay. So
I'm probably going to...
We've left Paris proper at this point. We're out in the suburbs.
But not super far out, right? Like, I mean, it doesn't seem like you're going very far.
And I know my view isn't great, but do I see if maybe we're flanked by any other vehicles, or is this the only vehicle I'm aware of that we're in?
Looking, this seems to be the only vehicle, but as you're driving, you can see it come into view. It's a prison. It is, and for all the people who speak French, I'm going to mispronounce this. Fresnay. It's the Fresnay prison. And it's in the little town of Fresnay, which is just really south of Paris a little bit, and it's like the second largest prison in France, so it's quite large. And you seem to be driving towards this very large prison. And if you recall, there was something that you all learned the other day. The Nazis were executing people at the Arc de Triomphe as a gesture of their dominance. But after your actions to embarrass them in public, you heard that they moved their executions out of that public space and into the Fresnay prison.
So we're going into the prison that the public executions are going to?
Mm-hmm. Where they execute hostages for every death of a German soldier, they execute 10 civilians.
Give me a second before we continue this scene. Mm-hmm. Let me think through my life.
That dawns on you in this moment. This is not a work detail.
This is not a work detail.
Mm-hmm.
Here's... all right. This would take a lot of negotiation between me as the player and you as the DM.
I'm ready.
But here's what I'm about to do.
It's a beautiful morning.
I'm about to freak the fuck out. And I am wondering if there's any way there's no retroactive way, I bet you're going to let me.
There's always fate points.
If I can use the Bricktop Brigade, essentially maybe the cleaners or whatever, but use them with an undermine to in any way, like, stop this vehicle. Obviously that's a whole lot of it's a whole lot going on there to get just the right vehicle, just the right time. But I did know that information. And I'm wondering if there's any way I could have told my contacts that, or at any point done that. If you're going to say no, then I will go Team Chaos.
Well,
and do some other stuff.
I'm not going to say no. What I'm going to say is, first you need to spend a fate point. Is the first thing for this to be a possibility. Okay. And then I will tell you about some things that we know to be true. Okay. We know that Jules and his buddies have been tracking the license plates. We also know that your friends have been sabotaging Nazi vehicles.
Yes.
And give me that fate point to say that one of the vehicles that they attempted to sabotage was this one. Just sort of.
So when I do that, am I clicking out of the fate point? Because there's one fate points.
And then there are 5 as well. So you could give the group fate point if you like.
Yeah, let me do the group fate point. Do I have to actually manually do that? Hey, there was only one there when last time I saw it. So this is good news. I'll delete that, buddy, for you.
Indeed.
There you go. And would this be an undermine, or would this?
Yes, it would. So spend one of your stress for the bricktops.
Say, is this personnel or assets, or?
I think it's personnel.
All right. Well, that's.
And then roll
There we
undermine.
go. I'm gonna roll it.
Roll it.
Here we go, everybody. I am very nervous about this.
Okay, that's 0
Ooh.
for the
Well,
moment.
that's not wonderful.
I rolled a -1, but they are. Where's my exciting? Where's my character sheet for the Nazis? Give me a second. They have a security. Well, I will be kind to you and say it's their mobility. So they have a 2. So that's a 1. They have a 1 versus your 0 at the moment.
So if I spend another fate point, would that boost that up to 2?
Yes, it would. But I would need the justification.
Okay. Here's the justification.
Give me an aspect.
Let's see, an aspect. Let's see.
Either yours or Bricktops or in the world, the scene, whatever you got.
Here's what I would love. Got it, because I already said that the knife is on me, right?
Yep.
Here's what I would love. Nose for a double cross.
Yes.
I can sense
Yep.
at this point. Now,
Yep.
let me go ahead and I'll just use my fate point. Me personally, and I'll go and goodbye fate point.
Yep.
But here's what I'd like to do. Nose for a double cross. And I'm going to drop the French accent. And I am still going to say in French, though. And I'm going to basically speed up, like just say, I'm just going to look over and like that action movie is like, all right, everybody, here's the rub. You know all those people that they're that they're executing? That's where we're going right now. So if you are part of any resistance movement, or you just want to stay the fuck alive, then you are about to help me when I'm about to do some really, really dumb shit to save our lives. And I'm going to take out the pocket knife and I'm going to reach over and I'm going to try to jab it in the guy's neck. And my hope is that not only that, but everything that's been happening up until this point, hopefully some fate in general, like maybe the guy's steering is just wrong, that if it takes too much of a left or a right at this point, that everything Jules did in the past causes this thing to maybe topple over or something. And ideally it's just out of range where, you know, like we can see the prison in the
but you're not there yet.
But we're not there yet.
Yep.
So that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to say that, and I'm going to turn around and be like, 5, 4, 3, and if anyone jumps up and is part of the resistance movement, that is part of the cleaners or part of the Bricktop Brigade that I just don't know about, and I'm just going to take the knife and I'm going to be like, oh, hello. You know, I do not like German Shepherds because kittens are so much cuter. And I'm just going to jab it into the guy's ear.
I need a couple of things from you.
Sure.
First off, this is amazing.
This is not my bag, by the way. I should not be
fighting is the skill.
Not my bag.
Yep. Okay. I'm going to roll for this guy. He's got a 1, so that's a 1. -1 is what he gets. So I need to ask you a question.
That means I win, right?
Yes, and you win by enough to take him out. I want you to tell me what happens to this person.
Okay.
Do you kill them?
You know, I think at this point, he's looking at all the people before he turns back around. You know, before he turned around, he saw all the scared faces, all the innocent people here.
These are just regular people.
And it's that rage of someone, even though these are just some basic officers doing the job, the fact that they're just casually driving these people to a, you know, maybe not all of them are going to go to their doom, but certainly probably all of them.
Yeah.
And it's just so casual. And death should not be that casual. I had to suffer yesterday, just last night. I couldn't sleep. And I killed somebody who was legitimately evil. And these are good people. Why should their death be so casual? And with that, I see red. And with that, I literally say exactly what I said. But I jam it in his ear. And I don't know if that's going to kill him. And I think
you have to tell me.
I think to make things interesting, I think this causes the truck to topple over.
Yeah.
And I think it's still going to cause some harm to the people inside.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to stab him in the ear, and I think I'm just going to keep stabbing him in the face. And I do think it kills him.
Yeah. So
and I think it, even as it's toppling over, like I'm hanging on it, and I'm just still stabbing.
And people start screaming as the steering column sort of cracks. This vehicle has been sabotaged. It is one of the ones that has been sabotaged, and the steering wheel cracks. The brake lines are not working. The people who are in the van start freaking out, and they start pushing against the walls, and the van starts toppling and teetering. I need a will roll from you as the van starts tipping over.
That's a 1.
You need a 4. So you're down by 3.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to re-roll. I don't even have will as a check, so
this is because you killed someone in close quarters.
Yeah. So I guess my mental stress, is that what we're looking at here? Oh, my mental stress is just about topped out.
So if you can spend a fate point, you can bring that down to a 1, and you can easily soak that 1.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. So I just removed it.
Yep.
Man, I told you, first 10 minutes.
First 10 minutes.
Or first hour.
Soak 1 mental stress.
Okay, I got 2 boxes, yo. I got no more mental stress I could possibly take.
And as you sort of see red and just start stabbing him, the vehicle tips and turns, and you don't really know what's happening. All you know is that somebody is pulling at you.
Yeah.
And your balance is off, and you don't know exactly what's happening until you sort of come to. And what you recognize is that you are in the van that is now on its side on the street. Yeah. And somebody's pulling you out of that little window, trying to pull you away from that little window. And you have the people in the van, and they're sort of pushing, right? All of them are pushing at the doors of the van, trying to get them open. And as you're being pulled back, you see the van, the father with one of the people that was sort of working, they kick the van open and the doors fly open as you are sort of being brought to sort of awareness of where you are.
The light just is blinding from going from pure darkness, not pure darkness, but now it's just this blinding early morning light. It's still early morning. Okay. And I'm going to say, all right, everybody, come on, stay calm. I am not calm.
No.
I am shaking. Yep. There's blood probably all over me. I'm going to take the knife. I'm going to put it back into my shoulder. I'm actually going to look over too. I'm like, everybody out. But stay close to the van right now until I can see what the landscape looks like. And I'm going to look over. Is the driver dead?
The driver's dead. And I will just tell you, what you did to that person was exactly what you were trained in SOE training. This was exactly how you were trained. You were trained how to assassinate people, and this is what you did. Now, stabbing them over and over again was not part of the training, but you were you drilled it. This was practice. That you went up with a fake knife and you practiced stabbing somebody from behind, right there in the head. This is something that you had done, and now you're doing it for real. And I'm
going to reach over, and if I can, I'd like to take his gun from his satchel.
You can.
Okay. Is the passenger soldier, is he alive?
The passenger soldier is alive as far as you can tell, but seems to be knocked unconscious.
Okay. I'm going to, for a moment, as I take the gun, I'm going to aim it at the head of the passenger soldier.
You can hear crying.
From outside?
From the civilians.
From the civilians. I'm going to... No. And I'm going to take it. I'm going to put it in my back, put it in my back belt. And I'm going to look over. It's like, all right, everybody, let's stay calm. Come on. I'm going to get out. I'm going to get out. And I'm going to look around. What do I see?
Basic thing that you see is that you're on the road, and you're sort of on the road out of Paris, approaching Frenay, and you're which is a small town, a little suburb. The van is sort of tipped over, and you have the soldier that, you know, in the front. The people are sort of staggering out of the van. Some of them, the little boy, the young newspaper man who thought the Germans were their friends, is crying. People are they're in a state of shock. They don't actually know what is happening. They're confused. You see sort of like kind of fields on the sides of where you are of this road, and you can see like little houses sort of coming up, right? You're in a sort of space where you have like you know, little cottages, little homes. This is not a particularly large space, and the sort of this massive prison looming over everything.
But there's a cottage nearby? Okay. I'm gonna yell at everyone. All right. I've been through something really, really upsetting right now. I need everyone to look at me.
And you have blood on you.
I do. And I didn't pass my will. I mean, I guess I soaked some of it, but I'm just shaking. And I'm saying, we need to get somewhere safe right now.
Would you like a fate point?
I hate you, Trooper.
I know, I'm just asking if you'd like one. I feel like the fact that you have trauma around seeing blood means that you might start having a little bit of a breakdown. Like you'd start having sort of flashbacks to what happened, and will not be able to lead them out of here right now. Or you can give me a fate point. I feel like you might.
There's like 7 people here. And how they look just as bad as me, right? I mean, probably I look worse, but worse for wear.
I'm just saying.
Here's what I'm going to do.
I'm going to give you the option. It's up to you.
No fate point.
Okay, give me a fate point.
That's only giving me 2 fate points.
It's true.
I have 2 more hours left of this. Well, 3 hours. I don't even know how many hours anymore. Oh God, I hate this.
I'm just saying this is a flashback moment. If you'd like a fate point, or you can give me one and don't have one.
God, I hate this decision. Fate point.
Okay. Continue.
What I want to do now is I start to have a flashback. I start thinking about stabbing the guy, but the guy looks up at me in the flashback, and it's the woman's face that I blew off. It's the and I look over at the passenger seat, and it's the elderly woman, right? And blood's everywhere. And then the world is tumbling, and then I pull myself back, and it's like no, get a hold of yourself, Tango. And I'm sure they're just like, what is he doing? But I'm like, look, we stay here, we're all gonna die. If we need to go somewhere, does anyone know where we can go? Otherwise, we're going to that cottage and we're gonna lay low. We're gonna go somewhere. I am open for anyone's suggestions. I'm saying all this in French.
And the husband says, well, but if we go, won't they just search for us? We have to get away from here. We have to get
as far away as we can, yes. But we need somewhere to go then. Where do we go?
And they seem to be a little bit at a loss because they're outside of Paris, right? They don't know this place. You're kind of in a slightly open fieldy space, sort of coming upon these sort of now populated spaces. And
I know that they'll search that cottage as the first thing, and I get that.
And they're looking to you like you're the person in charge, right? Because
I get it. All right. But the fields, they're fields, right? So they could probably hide us pretty well, you think?
Yeah. I will also know that there is traffic.
Oh, there is traffic. Okay, so people are driving to and from.
There's not, now I will note there's not a lot of traffic because it is occupied Paris and nobody has gas. So there's very little traffic, but you might get, for example, not often. So it's like you're not in a space with a lot of traffic because most people who have gas are the Nazis or the Vichy government. But sometimes you have farmers, and you have like a produce, right?
This is the worst situation, because even if we did get back to Paris, we have to go through some kind of checkpoint if we're going through the streets. We'll have to go in through another angle. All right.
Right. So there's like a farmer's truck with produce that drives by and sees what's happening and like slows down briefly to see.
I'm going to put out my thumb like a hitchhiker.
I'm going to need something for you. I'm going to need, because you look bad. You are covered in blood. This
is just a comedy moment of the situation where I'm out of ideas. You're looking at me like I'm the leader. Tango is never the leader. Mm-hmm. And he's looking around like, we should go to the cottage. No, wait, we should just go into the fields and go, like, because how long would it take to get to Paris at this point?
It's not. You're not that far out, actually. You're fairly close. I mean, it's not like a long drive.
Okay.
You could walk, but again.
But anyways, I do see a truck though, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna
rapport.
Mm-hmm. That's a 3.
Okay. The driver of this truck slows down with this alarmed look, and it's sort of like a youngish. I mean, I would say sort of mid-20s, although a person who's worked a hard life and so looks a little bit older. Sort of kind of burly, in an overalls, and it's sort of like slowing down with this look of alarm. And it seems to you like he's probably slowing down mostly because something about you scared him. You know what I mean? Like there was something about the intensity of your face and this.
Yeah. Is it the blood on me? Is the shaking? Is it the crazy eyes? Maybe it's the gun strapped to my belt. Maybe it's I should. It'd be great if I'm still waving a knife around. Like, hey.
And he's like slows down to see what's happening with this look of being a little bit intimidated and a little bit alarmed.
I'd be like, we could use your help.
I don't want trouble.
You don't want trouble? Well, neither do we, buddy. No more trouble. Promise. Can you help? And I'm just going to point to everyone who's looking very scared, because if you don't help, there's a lot more trouble in the world, and maybe those troubles will find you in your nightmares.
Oh. And he has this moment of indecision.
Yeah.
You can tell that it's this moment where he doesn't know what he's going to do, because if he helps you, it could be his life. But if he doesn't, it's the life of all 10 of you people.
Yeah. And you know what? I don't care that I'm putting that on him, because that shit's been put on me all day long, and that's you.
Welcome in, Raiders.
Yeah.
And he looks at you for this moment with your knife and your gun, and he sees this little old woman, these people in their Sunday best. He sees this kid, this paper boy. He sees all of these people looking frightened, some of them clinging to each other, and you covered in blood.
I'm going to go over to him as he's looking, and I'm going to be like, if you drive off, I understand, but look at what you're driving away from, and look what you're looking away from. Keep turning a blind eye, and more will keep dying. If you drive away, I'm going to take them through the fields. I'm going to get them back to Paris one way or another. And I could do that the hard way, where we might get caught. Or I could do that the easier way, if you know a way back in. I want to get them back to their families, and I want to point over to the prison, because in there, they're going to be executed. I saved them, but doesn't mean you can't save them as well.
And he looks up and down the road, and there's nobody coming just yet.
We don't have much time, so I need a quick answer. You can even get out of your truck and just say, I took it, if that makes you feel better.
Wait. And he steps out of the truck, and he moves around to the back, and he pulls down the what do you call it? The gate,
whatever. I don't know trucks. I'm not a proper man. I don't know truck.
You know,
the truck bed thing.
But you know the little gate door?
Yeah, the truck gate.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
The back of the truck.
Tailgate. The tailgate.
Tailgate.
Thank you, Hawkeye. He pulls down the tailgate, and he goes, "Okay, you can hide in the produce," and he sort of like starts moving quickly.
All right, everybody, come on into produce.
And
It's time.
the people start sort of climbing into this truck.
It's time to be groceries. Let's go.
And he starts quickly trying to cover them underneath sort of all of these cabbages that he has.
I'm going to help him do all that. Yeah.
And he gets everybody covered, but then there's you.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back over to the truck real quick. I'm going to take because one guy's still unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
The other guy is dead.
Mm-hmm.
So I go as quickly as possible. I'm going to try to get just the jacket.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really good at getting jackets off guys now.
You are?
I've gotten so many jackets. I have like a jacket collection.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to get a jacket put on me, get the hat put on me, make sure I look as good as possible. If there's any papers, even better.
Yeah. Give me an investigation.
Oh God,
This is just a good searchy search.
Damn it!
It's not too bad. You search this these. It's better for you to search the unconscious guy because he's not covered in blood.
Yeah.
You're able to sort of grab his jacket. What do you want to do about the pants? You don't have a lot of time.
I don't have a lot of time. I'm going to just you know what? We don't have time for pants.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have time for pants.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like at any moment, Trooper's going to say, "Would you like a fate point for pants?" And I don't want to spend a fate point to get pants, Trooper.
You know?
I'm getting angry now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is not worry about the pants. I'm going to make sure that from head down, when I'm in a truck, I look like a German soldier.
Mm-hmm. And you also find his paperwork, his ID, his pass, right? So you now have an example of the soldier's paperwork.
Could I do as I get into climb into passenger? I don't know. I know obviously I don't have a whole lot of my stuff to do any amount of forging. Excuse me. But does it seem like I could be passable, or do I need to do some kind of alterations, anything like that?
You don't. Your investigation was not so great. You don't know.
No, I don't know. Okay.
Maybe not. You don't know.
I wouldn't know. Okay.
Like maybe if you might be able to pass it off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I don't got anything else. I'm going to look over at the guy before we start driving. It's like, do you have any alcohol?
No.
None. Damn.
And he looks at like his work truck as he's like,
do you smoke?
Oui.
You're going to need this. I'm going to give him a cigarette. I'm going to give myself a cigarette. I'm going to light his. And I'm going to give him a handshake. And be like, thank you.
Oh, I don't want trouble.
None of us ever did. Let's go.
And he gets in and you sort of slide into the passenger seat.
Yeah. As
he starts driving back into Paris, where he was heading, because he was heading to go and bring food to a market. And he says, where should I bring you?
There's a couple places I think we could go. And I'm thinking through, and I'm trying to think through the streets of Paris. I don't want to take them to Bricktop. I think what I really want to do is find a nice spot that I know is, because I think we've been through enough of this.
Yeah.
And I know what's a clear place.
Yeah.
Like a spot that's just doesn't have a lot going on.
You can drop them off and then they can make their way.
Yeah, they kind of make their way out. And so I tell them this place. If you haven't noticed, the street signs have been a little off lately. I can guide you there.
Oh, thank you. And as you are driving, you come upon the checkpoint.
Of course I did.
You come upon the checkpoint. Would you like to give me a fate point?
Why would I like to give you a fate point?
Would you like to give me a fate point?
Are you going to tell me why? Or is this just
for a good surprise?
Oh, I got 2 fate points left. You still have a fate point.
I have 1. It says 4, but I only have 1.
Oh, okay. Oh, man.
So I only get 1 when there's 1
This
player.
is a much easier decision in a group when people are yelling at you. No. All right. Well, I don't want anything to happen. right now.
So you could give me
I'm
a
willing
fate
for
point.
chaos to happen when it's not 10 people. So I'm going to give you a fate point.
Give me a fate point, just as a present.
There we go. From me to you, Trooper. I didn't get you anything for Christmas or your birthday. Been a really bad friend, honestly.
I know it's
But
fine.
I got you a fate point today.
Thank you.
I've given you all my anxiety and stress.
You drive up to this checkpoint, and you hear one of the guards go, "Stop, papers!" And the guard, this German soldier, Wehrmacht, walks up to the truck to ask for this farmer for his papers, and the farmer, you can tell, is starting to sweat, started being kind of freaked out.
I would love it, by the way, if there was a bag, like a satchel or something I could have put over my legs.
Yeah. Yes.
And I'm just going to look over like, hello. Here you go, your papers, huh?
And the guard sees you, in German military uniform, and he thinks that's a little odd to see you in this truck.
This is going to a party, huh? And I'm going to, who was the last guy I talked to that really respected? He respected us. The last guy we talked to.
Well, here's what happens. This guard looks at you, seems a tad weirded out by this, and turns and goes back to the guard hut.
Okay. I forgot I gave you a fate point.
You did give me a fate point.
Do any of this shit. I'm just getting myself in trouble at this point.
And he goes, "Wait here." And he goes to speak to his supervisor. And his supervisor comes out to see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And you recognize the supervisor.
Oh.
It's Dirk. The guy you played cards with, poker with, 2 nights ago.
He really loves me.
And this is a guy that you've had a great evening with, him and his friends in his barracks.
We had a great time. Yeah.
You drank together. You got to know each other.
We talked about our relationships.
Yes, you did. And you got to know about them sort of being sort of lonely and sort of missing home and being afraid of war, and like you really got to know all 4 of him and his 3 friends that you were playing with. And this kid, right? He's like 22 maybe. And he's the supervisor for this post. And he comes out and he knows that you are not a German soldier.
No.
Because that is not what you told him. You told him that you were a German civilian, that you were living here in Paris, and that you had this girlfriend. And he knows that this is not appropriate for what's going on. And he sees you, and the guard's like speaking to him in German, which you understand. The guard's like, "Well, there's a German soldier here. I don't understand. This seems very strange. I thought, supervisor, you'd want to see this." And they said, "In here,
we're supplying bananas to the party."
And
that's why I was yelling out.
And Dirk sort of looks at you,
and I'm gonna look at him and be like,
and he comes over to your side of the truck, and he looks in, and he sees that you are not wearing uniform pants, and he sees on your neck a speck of blood because you did not do well in your investigation roll.
No.
And he sees this sort of little bit of blood on your neck, and he sees that you are not wearing uniform pants. And he looks at you deep in the eyes. And he says, "One moment." And he walks around the back of the truck, and the driver is sweating bullets. Yeah. You are afraid the driver might do something rash, that the driver might try to make a run for it, or who knows what, because
I'm gonna put a calming hand on the driver's shoulder. It's like, nothing to worry about, just bananas for the party, huh?
Give me rapport for this freaking out driver right now.
Not empathy?
You can give me empathy. Yeah, no, empathy will work.
Yeah, that's another.
That will work.
That's an okay. Oh, 6. Oh. Hey, yo.
Okay.
I'm going to look at him, and I'm just going to, as smoothly as I can, even though I am
before you say a word, as you're about to say something, you can see in slow motion his foot sort of twitch on the gas pedal, and like you can tell he's about ready to jackrabbit. Yeah. You can tell it's like that moment.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put my hand on the steering wheel, actually, like calmly, just like I'm talking to a friend, you know, because since we're stopped anyways. I'm just gonna look at him and I'm gonna be like, "Do not worry. You'll be fine.
By the way, you get a boost.
Ooh.
You get a boost. You get a boost because you've made that roll by a whole lot.
Yeah.
And we're gonna call this boost.
Party at the groceries.
No. Calm, cool, and collected.
Calm, cool, and collected. Yeah.
And you can use this. It's a one-time boost that you can use when you think that will come into effect.
I'm just gonna look over and be like, be cool, be calm. You can punch that if you want, if you see guns. But you won't see them.
But of course, the guard that is not your friend has got his rifle.
Oh, no, yeah. No,
right?
no,
because this is a checkpoint and they have guns.
Yeah.
They're not pointing them at you, but they have them. And you can see in the mirror as your friend Derek is circling this truck.
Yeah.
Out towards the back.
And I'm just going to keep my eyes on the going between the from Dirk to the driver, and I'm going to continue. Part of that 6 is just continues like, just be cool, just be cool. Ain't nothing gonna happen. I know this guy actually. We play cards. I think we're gonna be all right.
And then you hear it. You hear a little bit of sobbing from the back of the truck. One of the civilians is freaking out a little bit. Right when Dirk is walking by, and you can see him in the rear view mirror stop and look at the cabbages.
Over the sobbing, I'm just going to be like, hey, Dirk, when are we going to play cards again, huh, my friend, huh?
And Dirk goes, quiet. And you see him...
But we're getting groceries for the party.
Poke with the butt of his rifle into the cabbages.
Yeah.
And you hear it. You don't know if the other guy hears it. And the other guy goes, is something going on? Commander?
There's always something going on at a German party, of course, huh?
And the guy who's not your friend is looking very suspicious. Yeah. And Dirk
I'm trying to do is get voicing over the...
Yes. You're being loud, right? You're being loud that is sort of covering up the sound. And your friend is there, the driver is sort of like trying to be calm. And you're calming him makes this guard who you don't know seem a little bit less stressed out. And Dirk walks back up to the front where you're at, and he looks you in the eye. And you know that he knows that there's at least someone hidden in the back. And you know that he knows that there is something going on with you. And as he stands there and he looks at you right in the eye, the other guard goes, "Oh, should I look, Commander?" And he begins to move towards the back. And Dirk goes, "No, it's all right. Give me your papers."
Here's what I'm going to do. I feel like Tango is the kind of guy who would always have a pen on him.
Yeah.
So I'm going to, it is where you put your papers. I never put my papers where I can find them, Hold on just a second. And I'm going to go in, I'm going to find my papers. But as I'm doing that, I'm intentionally making noise. I'm letting Dirk know that I'm intentionally doing that. And I'm writing out, I'm going to write a note. And this note's going to say, thank you. And, comma, do you still want to play cards tomorrow? Or tonight? Tonight, I'll say tonight. You want to play cards tonight? We can talk. And I will put that to him.
And you slip your papers, and he looks at this sort of German soldier's ID, and he looks at this note you've given him. And he sort of looks at this other guard who's tense on his rifle and who's not certain what's happening because this all seems very suspicious to him and he doesn't really trust it.
Oh, maybe there's a checkbox, yes or no?
Yes or no.
I'm going to hand him the pen.
And
you can double check what you want, huh?
And the other guard goes, "This seems very strange, Sergeant. This seems strange. Why would..." And Dirk just goes, "Shut up." And he just sort of makes a couple notes, checks and he goes, "So paperwork is in order." And he folds your ID back and he hands it to you.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks at you and then he steps back and he says, "Free to go, move on, move on." And the driver doesn't know if he should move.
Yeah, I'm going to look over. I'm going to pat the driver on the leg. All right, time to go deliver the party groceries, huh? Let's go.
And you start moving as you can see Dirk move right back around to that.
Yeah, I'm going to give Dirk one last look. Just a good old, like a thank you look.
And he goes back to his post. And that fate point, by the way, was to have one of the people in that post be Dirk and not someone else. Because that's what fate points do.
You know what?
Fate points can change the narrative a little bit.
I spent that fate point, to be completely honest. I am super happy about that. I hope everybody else is as nervous as I was. Listen.
And when you guide the driver to a part where there's like a sort of like a less populated square in one of the parts of the city, he sort of brings everybody out, right? And the people, the civilians, they all, they thank you. They hold onto your hands, and the little old woman sort of gives you a kiss on the cheek, both cheeks. Mm-hmm. And if you do nothing, they will disperse into the city.
I think I'm way too terrified at everything that just happened. So I'm going to make sure, first and foremost, the elderly, I want them off first. I want to make sure they're okay. I'm going to check them over, triple check them, make sure the elderly are fine, make sure the women are okay, make sure the children are okay, make sure, at that point, just go through. And once I know for sure everyone is good, and the driver at the very end, I'm going to go over to him and I'm going to hand him another cigarette. Like, you earned this. And I hope you can go to bed knowing you saved some lives today.
And he just says, I don't want to get involved. And he sort of climbs into the truck and he drives off. Welcome, Raiders.
Yeah, welcome, Raiders. So I think at that point, he repeats that back to himself. He says, as the, he's kind of pulls out the gun a little bit, just kind of feeling the weight of it. And I mean the weight, the emotional weight of it. The day is leaning on him. And it's not even, what a time is it? Like 11 or something?
Yeah.
Like it's just 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And he's just going to look at the gun and he's going to say, yeah, I never wanted to get involved either, man. I never wanted to get involved. So it happens. Yes, I guess it's time to get cleaned up. I'm going to take the jacket off. Just going to toss it to the side. The hat, toss it off. And then buy a banana shirt that's probably covered in blood. I'm going to look around. I don't know about that. I'm just going to see if I can take any kind of back alleys or whatever and make my way back to Sylvie's to try to take a shower.
Do you want to know what he wrote back to you?
Oh, as I'm walking. Yeah, I'm going to do that. As I'm walking, I'm going to read it back.
And you pull out this sort of a soldier's ID and it has that note that you had sent him. And he wrote back in, his, this kid is a sergeant, right? He's clearly good enough, but he's young. He's not particularly experienced, and you know him. You've played cards with him.
Just be a picture of a banana. That would be amazing,
right? But like you
just drew a picture of a banana.
No, it's just a little message, and it just says, "I want you to know, not all Germans are Nazis."
That kid. I'm glad I shared a bunch of drinks with that kid.
And that's all it says. And
not all Germans are Nazis. Yeah, I love that. I love that so much. Okay.
And you make your way I need from you a stealth roll because you are walking through the city with blood all over you.
It's a 2.
It is fine. You maneuver slowly through the city, skulking, keeping to the alleys. And the thing is, you are a person who has skulked in alleys before. You have been in questionable places with questionable
Mostly by
people.
choice,
Mostly
but
by
sometimes
choice.
not. Yeah.
And it is something that you know. This is a life that you have been through. And as you make your way expertly dodging foot patrols, and you see, of course, that the security on the streets is heavy. There are Nazis everywhere. You have done a lot of damage to them and embarrassed them publicly, and they're all a little bit freaked out. And you make your way, but you notice there is a lot, there are a lot of people on the streets. And you are just moving alley by alley, this kind of like the little, like, sort of, medieval alleys of Paris, right? These little small crowded spaces. And you're making your way in Montmartre towards Sylvie's place. And you're at the alley, and you're that close to her door when you hear it. Halt! In this German accent behind you.
I am not in the mood for this. I am not. I got a headache.
Coming from the alley.
Yeah.
Behind you.
Mm-hmm.
Just a halt.
Halt. And I am. How far away does it sound?
Quite close.
Quite close.
But you didn't hear anybody following you. You didn't hear anyone following you?
Okay.
And you're just hearing this voice in this alley from right behind you.
I'm gonna look around. What do I see behind me?
You see a man step out of like a indentation in the alley. He was clearly hiding. And it's a man in a German officer's uniform, lieutenant, sort of the lowest rank. And he has got a cigarette that he lights, and you can see the bloom on this cigarette, sort of in the darkness of this alley. And you know him. You know him quite well. This is Sigmund Schor, who is an old frenemy of yours. You knew him before he was in the military, when he was just a German criminal, smuggler. The kind of person who smuggled people, anything really.
Not
Drugs.
a great guy, is what you're saying.
Not a great
But
guy.
we were in the same industry, like we knew of each other. Okay.
You were both smugglers.
His name was Sigmund.
Yeah, you smuggled art and valuables. He smuggled drugs, people, guns. He smuggled whatever would get him money. And you knew him to be a person with no morals, no beliefs, and you knew him to be somewhat cruel.
Of course.
But he was also a contact of yours back before you cared so much about things.
Yeah.
And you also know that he saw you the first night you came back when you were dropped into Paris. As you were walking into Bricktops, he was walking out. And here this man is in the alley right outside of Sylvie's.
Okay. Sigmund. How have you been? Still trading in whoever you can find?
I'm trading in anything and everything, my friend. So, what name are you going by right now?
Oh,
What should I call you?
I'm not going to be coy with you. I'm going by Tango right now.
Tango.
One of my old names. What name are you going by these days, Sigmund?
I'm right now a very proper and official officer of the German army, so I'm going by my official name.
Let's have a look at you. Look at you. Let's turn around. You got the whole jacket and everything.
Yes.
How does it feel?
Well,
How do you feel being an official officer of the assholes?
I will say this: power is very nice.
I'm sure power is nice, but it comes at the cost of,
What?
lives?
Has never been that important to me. So,
Yeah. Is this
Tango.
business or pleasure?
It's business.
Oh, what can I do for you?
Oh, it's more like what I can do for you. You called me.
Oh, I called you.
You did.
Right. Okay. Do you have a cigarette? I've had a really long day. And any amount of booze on you would be nice. Perhaps a sandwich?
I have what you requested.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure what you were dealing in because usually it's things I don't touch, but I did ask for something very specific.
You
and
did.
You have it, don't you?
Yes, you asked for some explosives.
I did. I very much did, Sigmund. Ha ha ha! Ha ha! Yeah, could you give me this? Can we just do that? I really need a shower. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, you have a lot of blood on you.
I do.
Looks embarrassing.
It is embarrassing, and it was going to be less embarrassing until you.
He reaches out,
thankfully, caught me.
and he wipes some of the blood off of your collarbone.
Yeah.
Tastes it.
Oh, that's creepy, Sigmund. You still taste blood?
Well,
all right. You still like to lick it every so often, you creep? Okay.
My friend.
Yes. Old friend.
Old friend. So, we have a bit of a problem.
What's the problem? I don't... I've had plenty of problems today. You got to be very specific. If we have a problem, or if you have a problem, or if I have a problem with you.
I have a problem which, my friend, is going to also be your problem a little bit, but it's more like an opportunity.
What is this?
Explosives are hard to come by.
Right, which is understandable. So many people are trying to explode people right now. It's a booming market. Hey, get that? Oh, I'm trying to use humor to diffuse the situation. See, diffuse. I did another one. Oh, that was 2 puns.
I've always liked your funness. Tango.
Yeah. Sigmund.
Let me ask you a question. Where do you think people could find explosives in an occupied city? Where do you think they'd come from?
Probably from the occupying force.
Yes, and he points to his uniform, have access to many things.
Of course you do.
And so I have to steal things from my employer, and that's, as a good patriotic German, that's so difficult for me. Puts me in a lot of danger.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Are you okay? I mean, I know this is... it's got to be tough on you.
It's very difficult for me.
Really difficult for you to... chew on.
Yes. So I feel like for me to give you the explosives...
You seem like you're on a short fuse. See, I keep going with the bomb references.
I like this about you.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get a laugh out of you.
I like you don't take all these things so seriously. So this is what I need from you. To give you these explosives, I just need something from you.
Of course.
So, as you may or may not know, I suspect, looking at your... outfit, you might know. Everybody's very tense in Paris right now.
I would say, around executions and invading force and pretty much people disappearing forcibly. That would put a lot of people, rubs people the wrong way. Let's just say it.
That's not what I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
I was talking about how all of my German friends are being assassinated by resistance.
What?
Yes, it's terrible.
What?
Everyone is very stressed out by this. All of my commanding officers are stressed out by this. We're bringing in people. Gestapo people are coming in. It's stress everywhere. And here's the problem, Tango.
What is the problem?
All of this stress.
I would think that you would think of that as an opportunity for improvement.
It's always an opportunity. It's always a gross opportunity. But the problem is, with so much tension, everybody's looking at all the details so closely, which makes it difficult for me to just, take the things I want. And being quartermaster's convenient for me, but everybody's looking at paperwork a little bit more closely right now because everyone's worried that they are... I don't know, traitors in the organization and all these people being... Because look, here's what I'm trying to tell you. People who have been secret have been assassinated, so someone must be telling someone something, yes? So, everyone's stressed out, and it makes me difficult to do the things that I like to do.
Yes.
So, you could help me out.
Okay. I'm listening.
I suspect you know something about this resistance.
What?
A little bit.
I don't know about that. You know me. I'm a player like you are.
This is why I'm
All
speaking with
sides
you.
are profitable sides to me.
This is why I like you, and this is why I deal with you. You do not have friends, like I do not have
I have
friends.
no friends. Ask me any day of the week. No friends at all. You know what? You know how many birthday parties I throw in for friends? Zero. Zero birthday parties. I have no friends.
Good. So, you would have no trouble giving me some friends that I can give up to one of my superiors so that I can look good.
Oh, absolutely I would.
So, I just need somebody that I can...
Do you have a paper and a pen?
No,
Some sort?
of course.
Yeah, let me just...
And he hands you a paper and a
write
pen.
something. Yeah.
Look.
I'd like to put down all the ones I know are actually working for the Nazis. The ones that we found out earlier.
Yes. Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
going to
yeah.
start writing some of those down.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm going to make up some groups that are just like the last one's going to be the banana splits or something like that, you know, like, or the tea house, the cobblestone teas or something. I'm gonna make a couple of them up, and I'm just be question marks. Like I have to see these ones with the question marks. I've heard the names. I don't know where they're at, but you can probably do the legwork if you actually ask around. But the other ones are actually legit. You know, the legit resistance that are actually working for the Nazis.
Yeah, the ones that have been turned. And this is all information that you got from the files that Regina stole.
Yes.
Right? So that this is not like this. If they checked in on it, it would look legit because these are people who are secretly turned, right? So that basically, if you had known resistance people, you wouldn't know that they were turned because it's like it's not been exposed yet.
Right.
And he looks at it, and he goes, give me just by tonight I can deliver.
Okay.
I have to check in on some of these names, and if the information is good.
Where do you want me to? Because at this point, now I can have them thinking, are they double agents? Are they triple crossing each other or something? So I should put them all in a spin. I'm like, all right, well, when can I meet you again? Here, same time? Or here tonight, sometime?
I'll tell you what.
Or will you give me a signal?
I saw you at this Bricktops. Is that a place that you just...
a place, you need a little, you and me, like you and this whole soldier bit, we all need a place that we work. And that's where I work.
I have seen you with the woman, the singer from this place.
She's,
this is her home.
Isn't she?
She is lovely. So
you might want to back off is what I'm saying, if that's what you're after. Hey, you ever fallen in love, buddy?
Wait, you falling in love? Come now. I know you, Tango. I know what kind of man you are. You are not a man who falls in love.
Sigmund, I am an enthusiast of love, my friend. An enthusiast.
You have no feelings for people. I know you.
Or maybe she's just a con. But either way, it's free room and board, right?
This is
the
Tango I know. I have. Yes.
Yeah, Sigmund.
Something I've always appreciated and respected about you is that you just con the world. Everything is a con for you. I like that.
Yeah, conning the world. But I can't con a con, man.
No.
So there's no chance or no reason to...
I need deception from you right now. Because I assume that you are being deceitful.
Yes, I'm being very deceitful. I have many friends. I have recently thrown a birthday party. I have no intention of just using Sylvie.
But you were a person who was like that.
Yes, I was very much like that like 2 weeks ago.
You were like that last year when he knew you, right? Like, I mean, he has not seen you in a while. You've been away for a bit, but he knows you from the past, and you were not a person who cared about other people before. Yeah. And that too is not a great roll for a person who's quite perceptive. But the thing is that this was a true statement once.
Yeah.
And you can tell as he looks at you like a person just like him. A person who doesn't care about people, who just cares about getting over on people. A person who's just like him. And you can tell as he looks you in the eye, he believes it.
Yeah.
He believes it.
And I think something sickens in me knowing that this was me not even, sure, a year ago, but maybe even a week ago.
Yeah.
This was me just conning the world, and I only had one thing that I would never tell anybody that I loved was my mother, and I wouldn't even tell anyone about her. No one knows about her in the whole industry of what I do.
And he leans in close to you, and you can smell on his breath stale coffee.
Yeah.
And he leans into you, and he smiles, and he just pats you on the shoulder, and he just says, "It is good to see you, Tango. I have missed you. I tell you what, because it is business, no hard feelings. I just have to check out some of the names on this list. If I check out, I will deliver you the explosives that you wanted. Now, where should I deliver them? If this woman is a con and if this club is a no place, where should I deliver them? Do you have a place you want?
I'm going to look around, actually, in this alley. Is there like a trash can?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I'd be like, how about you put in that trash can?
Okay. I tell you what. Tonight, when it's dark, check this trash can. If your names are good, you will find what you need. And I will tell you something. The explosives are prime, good quality German Nazi explosives.
I am hoping for that. And let me ask you a question.
Of course. How can I help you? You help me, I help you.
Do you know anything about gas? You're the quartermaster.
Gas?
I've been hearing about, and honestly, and I'm going to look around, I saw it for myself. There's a weaponized gas, you boys are using. Do you know anything about it? From one associate to another.
Gas.
Such a thing would be very valuable in the market.
It would be.
I'm interested.
You're interested.
It is. And I'm going to pull down my so he can see that I still have the scars from it. I'm going to be like, it is very, very potent. And I have a need. I saw for myself how potent. And I don't think it'd be right for the Nazis to have all of it. That would be very fair.
I need from you. I need from you rapport is what I need. I need rapport from you.
Of all the days, I need a rapport to be higher than my trade craft.
I need a rapport from you.
Shit.
A -1. I'm going to tell you something, though.
This is no good.
Everybody has a trouble aspect.
Yeah.
Right? You have one fate point left. You can invoke his trouble aspect if you like to give you a bonus, or any one of yours. And the thing about this guy, Zygmunt, is that you know his trouble aspect and that he is greedy. He is greedy.
Because in the back of my mind,
greedy man.
If I can get him to start stealing some of that gas, that could actually be in the favor of anyone who's not a Nazi.
Yeah.
And if I can even get him to get me some of that, then I could actually, I don't know, make it be helpful somehow.
I need that fate point from you, though.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to spend my last fate point.
Last one?
Even though I'm going to spend the rest of the game without a fate point and just do it. I don't give a shit. Captain Chaos.
And you say these things.
Yeah.
And he gets this look in his eye. And I need to make a roll. It's fine. You look at him, and
So stressed right now.
oh yeah,
Like
and
Koldrick said, it's all stress now.
he leans into you.
Yeah.
And he says,
And crying.
do you have access to, and he looks, how shall we say this, Yankee money? I know the Americans are not in the war, but I know they're spending money everywhere. Lend-lease and all of this. They have a lot
I'm
of
gonna look
money.
around. I'm gonna say, you know how war seems to come with a lot of money attached to it.
Yes.
I can promise you I can find a way. You know I'm good on my word.
Hmm?
Finding a way. What do you need?
I want a lot of money. I don't know where this is, but I can start looking for it. Because you're right. They don't need all of the gas. If maybe a
They
canister
don't.
went missing.
If a canister or two went missing, that'll be a little bit of money. But if you can tell us what the whole payload is, maybe a canister or two can go missing for you. But if you can tell me where the payload is, I think countries would pay for this. And it'd be the biggest score you'd ever seen. How do you feel about that? Retire on a little, little mountain top somewhere, or I don't know where you think
I
is
want
paradise.
gold. I want gold.
You want gold?
Not a lot of gold.
If you can, I know these people though, they're going to need proof. If you can deliver proof that you know where this is, I can guarantee you a lot of gold, my friend.
Okay. I tell
As
you
long
what.
as you keep a barrel or two for you and me, we can make even more after that. You know how we play both sides, my friend.
Well, this is not how this goes. This is not how this works. If I can find out where this is, I can divert some crates, something like this, and I can deliver them to you for money.
You can do that and get some money. But if you can tell me where the payload is, I can guarantee you, like I said, a lot more. And what do you deal in explosives and guns? You don't care about gas.
No.
They won't look your way. I'm going to pat him on the shoulder and like, give it some thought, my friend. How rich do you want to be? And I'm going to turn around and start walking off after that.
And he sort of like clucks his teeth. And he walks off the other way in this dark alley. And you see that this is a man who does not care that you're asking him to get chemical weapons that will kill who knows how many people. All he sees is gold. And that this man, if it were somebody different, you might be worried that he'd sell you out.
Yeah. But this guy is so ingrained into the society of con men that he probably only trusts con men.
Yeah. Now, you also know that whatever this is very secret, and it may be very difficult for him to find it, and it may be very dangerous for him to find it. But if it is something that he can find and that he can get, he will find it and he will get it, because he believes that there is a bunch of gold in Fort Knox with his name on it that you will provide for him. You have tempted him.
Yes, that is what I wanted. And also not what I wanted. I did not want to meet this guy. I did not want him to be the one who delivers me the explosives. But I think it played real well. Okay. I'm going to go up to Sylvie's.
She is not
at
home
this point. All right. I'm going to go up and I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to take the bloody clothes. I'm going to, I don't know. Oh, my stupid history mind. I don't know at what point do you just like put some clothes into a bucket of water or something?
You're going to have to bucket of water this one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to do that. I'm going to spend some extra time. Bucket of water. Like, I need this banana shirt to look good. I got to thing in 11. No,
12.
12.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do that, take a shower, and I want to have, if there's any time left, bet there's probably not a whole lot,
Not a
but
whole lot of
probably
time.
enough for coffee
Yep.
and a good cry.
Yeah.
Because I think he's going to look out the window,
Yeah.
and he's just not going to be able to handle his emotions. He's just going to be shaking with a cup of coffee and thinking through everything that just happened, and the safety net of his own, well, Sylvie's living room. He is just gonna bawl.
You have a lot of mental stress right now.
Yeah, that's also why he's bawling.
I do not think that you have enough time to clear that mental stress. I think you have enough time to sort of stress out, but you don't have enough time to clear it. I don't think you have enough time to do self-care at this moment before you go see the hawk. So I think you're going to keep that stress through this meeting.
Yeah. Okay.
But you are dressed.
Yeah.
You have had coffee. You've had a good cry. You kind of look a mess.
Yeah.
You check for the blood, I imagine, to make sure that there's no blood left on you.
Yeah.
Maybe you check more than once.
Yeah. So I check myself. I'm looking in the mirror. And I know that my hair is probably a mess, but I can't do anything with it. I can't, I have stress is just riddled in my face at this point. I can't stop from shaking.
But you're the happy guy, right?
I'm the happy guy.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to do like a, all right, just get it together. Get your fucking shit together. Get it together.
Is that blood on your neck?
Is it blood?
No.
I got it.
You got it.
But I think I'm still seeing spots. I'm like, wait, did I get blood on my?
No. Okay.
I'm fine.
No,
I'm going to take the gun out that I got from the German, and I'm going to check it for bullets, see if I have enough bullets in it, put it back, and put it under my belt. Take my, try to hide it the best I can. Make sure my knife is good. I'm actually going to take the knife out, pull it out, and even though it may not have blood on it, because I'm sure I've done it, I'm washing it again.
Yeah.
I'm washing it again.
Yeah.
It's like just nothing else can go wrong today. What else could go wrong? You can't kill any more people today. That's fine. Save a lot of people. How many people did you kill? How many people did you save? Is it more people that you saved than killed? I don't know at this point. You're just going to keep chaotically talking to himself.
And I assume this is where you go off to meet the hawk.
Yes.
You're going to head through the streets of Paris to Café Un, a cafe where you met him once before. And this will be the first time that you met him in a week. This man who is a great source of paperwork, passports, passes. Rumor has it, jewelry, watches, necklaces. A person who you have heard multiple people say is a member of the resistance, is the lead of a resistance cell who can help you get out of Paris.
Yeah.
And as you turn the corner, you can see the plates, the glass windows of Café Un. The streets now, it's bright, it's sunny. Sunday, people going to church, soldiers walking the streets. It is a beautiful day. And there you can see inside the window this man, gray, tall, thin, wiry, small, thin glasses, his hair sort of slicked back, and he's sitting at this table. He doesn't see you yet, you're not inside the cafe, and he sits there with this red carnation perfectly pinned to his suit. His suit is perfectly pressed, and he's got his fingers, and his fingers are just playing with his pipe. Very precise movements, detailed, specific, precise, and on the table in front of him has got his glass of coffee, chicory root, and he's placing the cup on the saucer so that it is perfect. The napkin is perfectly folded. He's got this napkin and he folds it perfectly on the side. He's got this this baguette, and you can tell that the butter is perfectly placed. It's a perfectly square slice of butter, and you can see all of this through the window as he's looking down waiting for you.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where we go to break.
All right. Ooh. What? Oh my God. What a couple hours.
It's just a guy, this guy the Hawk. And I'm sure this will not at all be distressing.
No, especially since I have no fate points anywhere.
No fate points
anywhere, so there's no safety net right now.
And there's no safety net.
So that should be fun.
We're going to go on break, everyone. We have some things to discuss. First off, for those of you who have never been here before, I have some historical radio footage that we get to listen to over break, so I want you to enjoy. And I will say that this one is actually New Year's. It's the 1st of January for 1941. I had to go back in the past because the stuff that's coming up in the future, my radio broadcast for the future will be a little bit too spoilery. So we've gone back to the beginning of the year so we can find out what's happening. And I do want to thank everyone who has donated so far, and I want to read out our messages for our supporters. So first off, our first one, we have some bits from Rissa, who says, "Good luck, Tango. You'll likely need it." Yeah.
That is true. I have needed it, by the way.
We have $25 from Void Smoke, who says, "Thanks for another intense solo session. With City of Light and Shadow and Cthulhu Confidential, you've inspired me to try some one-on-one episodes with my players too." Void Smoker, do it! Do it! One-on-one episodes are great. They're so good because... Cover your ears. Cover your ears. Stiver. Thank you. What's really great about them is they really get you to give you time to really focus in on the player and let them have this moment and really get to see who those characters are, to really dig in with them and get to know who they are and challenge them in really interesting ways. I find that it's one of the, if you care about character growth and sort of character-driven RP, I think giving your players just that moment to have their solo time to really explore who they have been in the past, who they will be in the future. It's like, if you have players who are into it, I recommend it. Do it. If your players are into it, do it, do it, do it. And I want to say thank you, Mr. Puddins, for the bits, and also Rissa for 200 bits, because I will not let them give you more fate points. And also, by the way, thank you all of the raiders who have raided so far. I would like you all at this point, because it's been a little intense, to drink some water or some ginger ale or whatever it is you would like to drink.
I'm drinking booze, so drink some booze if you want to drink booze.
Drink some booze and stretch your legs, and we will be back in 10 minutes.
That's how I'm handling stress.
Take care, everybody. 10 minutes.
America Looks Abroad with your foreign correspondent, Robert Arden, presented each weeknight over these stations by the 12 Southern California offices of Dr. Cowan, the friendly credit dentist, whose main Los Angeles office is over the Owl Drug, 5th and Broadway. Tonight's broadcast is transcribed from an earlier program.
Good evening. New Year's Day has come and gone. And while we are getting accustomed to writing 1941 in our datelines, 1940 A.D. is being entered into the records of history as a year which saw the most important and perhaps the most far-reaching ideological conflict of modern history break out in open warfare. The term ideological conflict is being used advisedly, since it cannot be doubted any longer that the war between Great Britain and Nazi Germany is not an armed contest between two powerful nations disputing each other's possessions, but that it is actually a life-and-death struggle between two ideologies. Let us see if my contention stands up under close scrutiny. On one side, we have Great Britain, her ally and sympathizers. They obviously stand for preservation and protection of their traditional belief in human liberty and spiritual freedom. On the opposing side, we have Nazi Germany and her totalitarian axis, the advocates of imposition by brute force of a dogma that teaches intolerance, subservience of all to one individual, and which excuses aggression and bloody conquest as the rightful means to their end employed by supposed members of a super race. Those are unquestionably the facts in the case. The bitterness which marks the current conflict, both on the battlefields and on the speakers' platforms, the hateful use of treacherous espionage and insidious propaganda, that alone would point to the existence of an ideological conflict rather than to a clash caused by more material motives. It is a well-known and perhaps somewhat unfortunate fact that human beings, when inspired by inflexible ideas, and by that are meant all ideas whose inherent weakness disallows tolerance or any other form of peaceful conciliation, are apt to transgress beyond the limits of human kindness and resort to more or less bloody violence. That psychological fact was proved by the ancient Romans during the times of early Christianity. It was demonstrated by Mohammed. It was again brought into evidence by the Holy Inquisition, and it is being repeated in our times by communism, fascism, and Nazism. Philosophy teaches us that we can learn from our past. By establishing indisputable facts at certain intervals, we can discern directional lines which indicate at least the direction in which certain events under certain conditions will and must lead. The history of mankind shows that in certain circumstances, usually under great economic stress and the ensuing mental despair, human beings are willing to follow almost any leader who promises a better future. Whether that be paradise after this life, or nirvana, or the promised land, whether it be the Marxian utopia or the Hitlerian Nazi domination, makes essentially no difference. When in need, human beings learn to pray. When in despair, they like to follow a stronger mind. Taking these facts for granted, we must now look at Europe and seek out the material confirmations. After the last European war, in 1918, there was great economic distress and great mental despair all throughout Europe. Russia, though the first nation to embrace, more or less willingly, the new religion of communism, after 20-odd years of practical and unlimited experimenting, is still as far away from the Marxian utopia or any other ideal condition, for that matter, as it ever was. Then came the multitude of new states, created by strategists on the conference tables of Versailles, in strict accordance with the proclaimed principle of self-determination, but without any regard for economic possibilities. These states, of course, had nothing more than a different language, and very often only a different dialect as a justification for their political existence. Small wonder, then, that their political existence was a heavy economic burden and a continuous source of friction with their neighbors and sponsors. Italy was second to attempt a change, when a renegade socialist by name of Benito Mussolini double-crossed his spiritual and material leader, Gabriele D'Annunzio, and set himself up as Duce del Fascismo. The intolerance of that new political religion was demonstrated in, as we saw later, the comparatively mild form of beatings and castor oil treatments of dissenters. Germany, the strongest and most important of the European nations, went through every one of the disappointing experiences her neighbors had to muddle through. Post-war Germany had her communist putschs and fascist coups d'etat under the social democratic governments which followed a collapsed imperial regime. But while excellent as opposition in a parliamentary monarchy, the Social Democrats proved themselves utterly devoid of any ability to assume leadership of the new state. In those circumstances, under those conditions, covered by comparative obscurity, a former paperhanger, a hysterical egoist who had an axe to grind with everyone and everything, became the underground apostle of countless hungry and jobless Germans whose worst suffering came from their hurt pride. The German, or rather the Prussian, who has no racial affinity with the Teutonic German at all, since he is originally a Slav, is deeply rooted in his past, which shows his ancestors as conquering warriors. Hitler's task was comparatively easy, inasmuch as the Germans were mentally and materially ready to follow a new leader, provided he would lead them back to the glory that once was theirs. Before going any further, let's have a word from Bill Fuller.
More than simply marking a date on the calendar, New Year's is traditionally a day in which resolutions are made, as we all know. So if you have made a list of good intentions, a list of the many things you plan to do this year and had intended doing last year, suppose we check over the items to see whether you have remembered one of the most important. See if you have resolved to have your teeth cared for by Dr. Cowan, the friendly credit dentist. Neglected teeth can cause great misery, can cause ill health, too. And neglected teeth can be a source of discomfort, both mental and physical. You can't represent yourself to your best advantage if poor teeth misrepresent you. So why not resolve right now to start 1941 the right way by having your teeth properly cared for? Such care is simple and conveniently obtained by calling on your nearest Dr. Cowan Friendly Credit Dental office. You needn't delay further because of lack of cash or heavy Christmas expenditures, because Dr. Cowan will not ask you to pay cash. You may arrange terms to suit your own budget, and there is never an extra charge for Dr. Cowan credit. And speaking of terms, with approved credit, it is not necessary to have a down payment to have Dr. Cowan fit you with a set of the improved transparent material dentures, the still recent development of dental science that has brought untold relief and comfort to wearers of artificial teeth. If you haven't learned of the advantages of these new dentures, I'd suggest that you ask Dr. Cowan to show you samples on your next visit. And I'd suggest, too, that you make that dental visit early in 1941. How about seeing Dr. Cowan, the friendly credit dentist, tomorrow? The main office over the Owl Drug, 5th and Broadway, downtown Los Angeles. And now back to Robert Arden.
That was the way the theory of Nazi Superman was born and the idea of world conquest conceived. The world does not acknowledge the glorious past of the Teuton and his inherited claim to greatness, so the Nazis argued. The world must be taught by force. And once in power, the Nazi doctrine became the most ruthless and intolerant of all. Human beings became the servants of the state and the serfs of their master. Religion of any denomination became outlawed, and concentration camps, or the far more merciful end of sudden death, became the destiny of all those who were singled out as responsible for the depressed economic and political situation. Agreements and treaties were torn up, and since the rest of the world did not feel much desire to embark upon another devastating war, the leader, their Führer, became the hero in the eyes of his hypnotized followers, and Nazism was on the march. Thus we see that the facts are there. Need, starvation, and mental despair are the components which created the monster of Hitlerism. And from those facts we can determine those directional lines I mentioned before, and they seem to point to ultimate destruction of Hitler and his Nazism, because essentially human beings want to be free to think, speak, and worship as they please. They want to see their children grow up as free men and not become products of mass industry destined to serve as uniformed slaves in a military juggernaut. A Washington report tonight tells of an exchange of telegrams between the King of Italy and President Roosevelt. Most of the papers buried that item in their back pages, although, in my opinion, it is one of the most interesting, perhaps most revealing stories that has come to our attention. King Vittorio Emanuele sent President Roosevelt a message in which he extended his most cordial good wishes for the people of the United States. At the same time, the fascist press was threatening a declaration of war upon the same people by the totalitarian Axis. Now the question arises, which one of the two represents the public?
And we are back, everyone. Hello. Welcome to the second half of our episode of City of Light and Shadow, episode 14. There are a couple things I need to give you some heads up on because I know we have new folks who are watching. There's some things you need to know. At the end of the episode, I'm just preparing you now, so you're prepared. I'm going to ask what you all think the name of the episode should be. So just be prepared. You can just start thinking about it now. If you have thoughts in your mind. So we are back. As we started, and I suppose I should also let you know, those of you who are new to the show, this is a historical show with a little bit of liberties, but I actually sort of try to incorporate a lot of actual history into the show. We've dived into a little bit of alternate history because they've killed some people that have not been killed. Although there are some things, there's some history that they didn't change in the end. So that was interesting as well. So we are, they are agents. We're going to see what happens with them. But note that there are quite a few historical things that happen in this game, including things. Don't even worry about it. Things.
Things. Yeah, can't wait for the things.
Yeah, the things. So I suppose what I will say is, on our first half, Tango was rounded up because the German occupiers had a hostage policy wherein if any German soldier was killed, they would round up 10 civilians and just kill them. This was to discourage resistance behavior or to turn the public against the resistance, that, hey, don't help the resistance, don't support them because, they killed a German soldier and so now we're going to just kill a bunch of you. And so they got caught up in one of these sort of sweeps because our resistance members have been killing some people. And Tango got caught up, but he was able to save that van full of people from death. At least that van full of people. And then he met up with an old contact of his from when Tango was a less scrupulous smuggler.
Yes.
And
an old friend,
yeah,
if you can call them that.
Yeah. Frenemy. And organized and made some good deals with this person that allowed him to actually keep the new morals that he's learned while sort of baiting this con man. Mm-hmm. Now, the last thing that Tango had on his agenda for today was he wanted to find out about the Hawk. The Hawk was a man that he saw on the very first episode of this show. He was sent to go and meet this fellow, the Hawk, who is a person who could provide passports. Because one of the things that's really important is, first off, our Tango is a forger. But the thing is that you need to know what these passports look like, what the stamps on the passports look like. The Germans would change stamps regularly to try to catch forgeries so that you could then make forgeries. And being able to have examples of a lot of these passes and passports that are current is really, really great. It allows them, because one of the things that our group has been doing has been helping people escape out of Paris, out of occupied Paris, actually occupied zones. In order to get people out, you need to have good examples of paperwork. And so our Tango in the very first episode went to see this man, the Hawk, who had copies of paperwork. And when Tango looked through this paperwork when he got back to the Bricktops, which is the nightclub out of which they're based, our resistance members, he realized that all of the paperwork were from Jews. And they were from Jewish people, and these were not forgeries. They were the real deal. And he had paperwork from just Jewish people, passports and this paperwork and ID. And from then on, throughout the rest of the season, they'd been hearing, they ran into a family who had heard that the Hawk was a way that to get out of Paris, that he is basically a member of the resistance, is what they've been told, who has a cell that sort of lets people escape. They ran into a different cell of people that were not the Hawk that also got people out of Paris, but that apparently he is a resistance member, runs a cell that helps people get out of occupied Paris. But this family didn't go to him. They went to Sylvie because they knew Sylvie and they went to her instead. And one of the kids said they didn't get a good feeling about this guy, the Hawk, anyway. And most recently in the last episode, not the last group episode, Hawk had asked a little bit about. Tango had asked about the Hawk and found wanting to get some information about him because if he's a resistance member, he wanted to know something. But the word he got back was that he is not a member of the French resistance. At least he's not at all connected with London. So, Kuldrick asked, doesn't Tango still owe the Hawk for furnishing Drill's birthday party? No, that was the dawn of Paris. Tango,
the dawn.
Yeah, Tango knows a bunch of criminal people. Tango knows a lot of shady people, and so that was the dawn. And he then asked.
The dawn throws a really good birthday party.
He does.
A real baller birthday party.
And Tango asked Falstaff, his sort of connection to the SOE, to get him a meeting with the Hawk. And in this moment, this meeting has been arranged. And Tango now stands outside of Café Un, a cafe. And inside the cafe is the Hawk, a gray little non-distinct man who doesn't seem very interesting, sort of forgettable face, wiry, thin, sitting there with everything in place inside this cafe. And, my dear Tango, I ask you, what would you like to do?
All right. I'm going to go into the cafe. I'm going to look around. I'm going to buy myself a coffee. And once I acquire the coffee, I'm going to sit down at this table with the Hawk. Before I do that, I'm like, do you mind if I sit?
Oh, no, of course not. Please have a seat. And he sort of takes the little napkin that he was playing with and he puts it down on the table. And he gestures to the seat across from you.
Good. There's probably a napkin near me. I'm just going to ruffle it up a little bit and put it on my lap. I don't think I ever asked you. What's your name? A name.
And he smiles.
Yeah.
He says, I don't think that we should be using names, should we?
Well, I figured you'd give me a fake name. I don't know if you just want me to call you the Hawk, or if you want me to call you Jim, or do you want me to call you
you can
something.
No, you can call me Doctor.
Dr. Hawk. Listen, Dr. Hawk. I want to know where your heart's at. Where do you play in all this? Because we're getting real deep, real fast. And I need to know which side you're on. I need to know what you're doing.
I'm a member of the Resistance, of course.
What cell?
Oh, it's my own cell.
Just you. What do you do?
Well,
what do you really do?
I do many things. I am a patriot. I am and he has got this little bow tie. He's wearing a bow tie, and he straightens his bow tie. I am just, doing what I can to help Paris and to help France, of course.
Doing what you can, yeah.
Yes.
So...
My cell is mostly me. I have perhaps one or two others who can help.
Sure. I've been seeing some personal effects floating through the...
Pause. Sorry, audience. That's one other thing I forgot to tell you. Tango's a lot of underground shady criminal contacts, and he has heard that there have been a lot of personal effects flooding the black market recently.
Yeah. Personal effects of Jewish families.
Yeah, but not furniture. So not household goods, but just kind of personal effects.
Mm-hmm.
Go on.
So, do you know anything about these personal belongings starting to flood the marketplace?
Oh, why no?
Really?
I do not deal with such things.
You don't deal with any of that?
No.
Because you smuggle people?
No, I help people escape.
You help Jewish people escape. Yes.
Well, I help anyone who needs to escape. But at the moment, considering the
You gave
politics,
me some very, very convincing, not just convincing, they were real, of course, and that's great. Good job for you, doing the right thing.
of course.
I just want to know if you know how all these personal belongings are being, these jewelry and things that are seemingly like heirlooms that would feel to me like maybe they are payment
Ah, I see.
for services. That's what it would seem if I'm just assuming. Is that
Yes.
something you've been dealing with?
I see.
We're seeing.
Oh, well, this is interesting. I mean, Mr. Tango,
Please call me doctor. Since we're both doctors here.
no, I am a doctor.
Right. But call me doctor.
And you can see his jaw tighten a little bit.
Yeah. Dr. Tango.
You are not a doctor. You did not go to medical school. And he just you can see him playing with the corner of the napkin at the table just a little bit.
I could be a doctor of love. I could be a doctor of dance. I could be a doctor of libations.
There's only one true kind of doctor. There's a medical doctor. And
No,
you are
I
not
think
a
doctor of dance is actually the truest form of doctor I've ever seen or met. But fine, you don't want to call me doctor. I feel like I have an MD in being life of the party, but that's fine. That's okay. Doctor, continue.
Yes. I was just saying that being
Are you going to eat that baguette? By the way, I know you have it nice, and I didn't realize how hungry I was. I can go get myself a baguette, but yours is right there.
And he pushes
You
the
haven't touched
baguette
it.
over towards you, and he places it right so that the dish is centered, right? Like there's a center line right between your body. It's right there.
Okay. I'm going to take the littlest nubbing of a out of it and put it right off center. I'm going to go, continue, Dr. Hawk.
And he looks at the dish. He just looks at it for a moment. And he just reaches out and he just pushes it just over so that it's just centered.
Yeah.
Well, I am a member of the Resistance and making sure no one's overhearing. And what we do, you probably would not understand, is very difficult. It takes a lot of money to do what we are doing. We need funds. It is being a member of the Resistance is not cheap. And so, if these people who are wanting to escape, they must provide some sort of payment so that we can bribe officials, we can buy the things we need to do to get them out of the country.
I went to, as he's saying that, I'm going to reach out, take another nibble on the baguette, and I'm going to place it to the right now instead of the left, and put it down. I'm like, well,
can I'm going to need a roll from you.
Okay.
This is a.
I'm trying to take him off his game.
Yes, you are, and that's why you need to give me a roll.
Ruffle him up a little bit.
Because this feels to me like you are giving me an attack, is what this is.
Okay, what kind of attack?
That's a good question. I feel like this might be a provoke attack.
Okay, I will roll it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 1.
Okay. That is a 1. Because provoke is how you distress people in various ways,
yeah,
you know?
So I'm distressing. I'm trying to see if you'll...
This is a tie.
Okay.
So, because he's got a will of 2.
Okay.
And so with a tie, you have a choice. This is up to you. On a tie, you can get a boost. Right? Yeah, that's basically right. You can get a boost. So you fail provoking him, but you get a boost that you can use when you are trying to provoke him later for your psychological warfare. Or actually, that for Yes, that's it. That's what you can do. You get a boost. It's a tie, so you
Okay.
get a boost. And we're going to say that this boost is putting him on edge,
Yes.
right? So that's basically like a free fate point that you can use to mess with him later.
Yeah, I'll definitely take that.
But
So no,
right now, I just want you to, just for the record, we are in combat. I just want you to know it. We are.
No, I get it. We are in
cur-
verbal combat.
We are
right
in
now.
verbal combat.
Okay. So as he says that, and I'm just going to say, so that first bit where you said you had no idea, but now suddenly the idea is coming up, and you're telling me. I thought we were both part of the resistance together, so there were no lies between us comrades. Pardon the use of the word comrade here, but trying to just be fun, trying to get, you and me be friendly.
Well,
So my point
one can
here
never be
is-
so careful. I feel like one has to be perhaps just a, one cannot put everything on the table. I don't know where your loyalties lie. Perhaps you are not as loyal to. You are not French. Perhaps you're not as loyal to France as I am. How can I trust you? He's going to make a provoke attack on you, my friend.
Okay. And what do I do about that?
I'm going to roll my attack. I roll what's his... So he has got... I feel like his provoke is probably not so great. I feel like it's a provoke of 1. So that's a 2. You need to roll your will to resist.
Ooh. That's a -3.
Well, that's no good for you, my friend.
Nope.
Because
my stress is already at max.
that's a 4.
Yeah.
That's a
and there's
4.
literally nothing else I can do about that. So
Except you have boosts.
I probably... Oh, I do have a boost.
You have 2, actually. You have holding it together and also putting him on edge.
Okay. So is there any way to use... how would I use that? Is that a reroll? I can just use a boost and cash it in?
Yeah, you can either re-roll, you can cash it in for a re-roll, or you can cash it in for a +2. But that was a super bad roll that you got.
A super bad roll, so I think I'm just going to re-roll.
Okay. Which one do you want to get rid of? Holding it together or putting him on edge?
Holding it together.
All right.
Because I think at this point he's starting to sweat and he's just starting to come unraveled, and he's just killed another person today. He's almost feeling like the only thing the only thing you can do right now is not play with people anymore. Now you got to just like directly attack them or something,
So that's a 0, which is -2. So the only way you're going to get through this is if you use your other edge, the other boost you have.
I'll use it.
Okay.
So now I have no other.
Not at the moment.
No other safety net.
So you were saying, but you were able to deflect. You were able to deflect this sort of comeback he gives you.
No, I deflect that, and to do that, I actually pick up the baguette and I eat an entire half of it, and I keep the half ring of the baguette, whatever, and I'm going to place that in the center. And I go, oh, sorry, and I'm going to just tap it ever so slightly off. And I'm going to say, well, how do I know? I've heard from the resistance that from people that you're good. I've heard from people who are supplying me information that you're also not on the up and up.
Well,
I've also heard from some people that you give them the creeps.
I am not creepy. I am fine. I'm also well respected. And also I am a loyal member of the resistance. I am French, unlike you.
Yeah. What have you done lately?
What have I done lately?
What have you done
Well,
lately? Can you tell me?
yes, I can tell you some things.
You can earn some of my respect and I can earn some of your respect. And then maybe instead of this little game we're playing, we join powers and we do what we can to actually help.
Well,
Would you like to
Mr.
help, or would you like to trade in people's heirlooms?
Listen, Mr. Tango, you must know
Dr.
something.
Tango.
Is this another provoke? I just want to know. I just want to know.
Why not?
Yeah,
do
it's
another provoke.
Roll your provoke.
He is stressed.
Mm-hmm.
He's not having it today.
That's another tie. You get another boost.
Okay.
You get another boost.
I get the other boost, yeah.
Mm-hmm. You are needling him.
I am needling him.
That's what you're doing. You are needling him. You have that boost for needling. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And he says, I will tell you what I do. I am a doctor. And do you know what I do? When the German Nazis come and they want to take people away for their work detail, which is hard labor, I write notes saying that people are not qualified or not fit to work. This is my resistance. And if you need some sort of letter, I would be happy to provide something like this to show you that you are not able to work. I am a very loyal person.
If you are loyal and you can do as you say, and you have done what you said, and I'm going to look at him and like shaky eyes, and my hands are trembling. Can't even hide it because I'm, will's blown up.
Oh, he notices your hands.
Yeah. It's like, then thank you.
Would
your
you...
country should thank you. You know what I've done? Just today. I saved people from being executed.
That is what I do.
Yeah.
I save people.
So
he reaches into his pocket.
Yeah.
And he pulls out a very small bottle of liquid. And he just slides it over, tips it over, the bottle is closed, and puts your napkin over the bottle.
How does this save people?
I notice that your hands are shaking.
I'm a fairly open person, so I'll just come out and say that I have had a very bad day and I'm not handling it quite as well as I would normally handle it. So
then you can take this as a gift from me to you. It is something that will calm your nerves.
Yeah.
Only a little bit of opiate.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. I see. From Doctor the Doctor,
You are not a doctor.
Look, I went to dance class, in the dance school, graduated with my dance PhD.
PhDs are not real doctors.
Okay. That's fine. We can agree to disagree. Dr. Hawk.
Yes. Oui.
What is it that you know is going on right now that could be helpful for the greater resistance?
I am here to provide paperwork or things you might need. I would wish not to be disturbed too often. It is not safe, of course, for us to be speaking too often. Once a week feels too much to me. I like to be left alone. It is safer. If we do not communicate too much, this way I can get people out of the country without any compromise. I feel like safety is important, don't you? Don't you think that? Mr. Tango?
Safety is important. You're right. I really hope. And so far, you seem to be on the up and up. Is there, by the way, a way I can? It's like awareness to kind of see if he's telling the truth.
That would be some empathy.
Empathy.
That would be some empathy.
Some empathy. Look at that. That's a 2.
And I roll a 2, so we're tied. If you spend that fate point, you've got that boost.
That boost. I want to know if this guy, that's the whole reason for the season. I want to know if this guy's on the up and up. So we've had a little verbal warfare, and now that we're done, I'm kind of telling him, hey, I hope you're on, so let's see if he's actually
you also
got it going on.
You also get another boost for that, and that second boost is insight into the doctor. Because you succeed by enough to get another boost.
Yeah.
What exactly do you want to know about his up and upness? Because you get an empathy. You're being able to read him, right?
Yeah. So the reading here is.
What are you looking for? Because you're like kind of searching into this person's eyes, right?
I am searching this person's eyes, and I'm trying to see if this is the kind of guy, because I know the kind of guy. I just talked in the alley to the kind of guy. I've lived the life of the kind of guy who plays both sides of the table, who knows for a double cross. If I even had the fate point, I would use it now. So I'd like to see if I'm trying to search to see if this guy has it in him to be someone who double crosses. Or is this a guy who really is doing something patriotic, but he just comes off
creepy?
Weird? Like creepy. You know what I mean? Because some people just come off creepy, but they mean well. Is this a guy who comes off creepy, but means well? Like just doesn't know when to stop texting? Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I want to know.
I think what I would say to you is, you know Sigmund, right? Your buddy?
Yeah.
He's a cruel, amoral, violent person. Like he'll stab somebody. He will kidnap people and sell them off to things. Like and
he won't care.
He won't care.
He's more worried about what he's going to eat that night.
Yeah. But how do I describe this? There's something human about Sigmund. Like he's a person with like wants, desires, and needs. There's something very understandable about him, in the sense that he seems like an actual human being to you, Sigmund, right? Like with normal, rational desires. You kind of can read who he is and what he's about.
He's just a greedy dude, and I've met plenty of greedy dudes. He's
just
a greedy dude who's better at it than a lot of other people or something, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
This man, when you go and you look into his eyes, you see something different. You don't see, oh, he might double cross me for the other side because he wants something. Like, you don't see that. You see someone who has a hunger for something. And his eyes are dead of feeling. There is no feeling in his eyes. There is no hunger. There's no like greed. There's no anger. There is an absence of care, of feeling, of any kind of feeling, not anger, not sorrow, not love or hate. It is completely dead in his eyes. And when he tells you that he helps people escape, you know that is not true. You know this man has never helped anyone in his life. Ever.
Okay. I'm going to say that. And with shaky hands, I'm going to still take the bottle that's on the table that he covered in the napkin. I'm going to put that in my pocket. Because I'm pretty sure he did that for real. He just wants me to, he probably wants me to truly fuck off and let him do his own thing. I get it. And
maybe if you get addicted to laudanum, that's cool too.
Yeah, exactly.
Because then you're his friend, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna look at him and be like,
But I will say
flash
this: you don't
yeah.
think he's lying about writing paperwork for people,
Oh,
right? That part, like
yeah.
that he writes like fake notes for people so they don't have to go into work. That seemed like it was true. But what was interesting to you that when you were sort of assessing that did seem true, but it didn't seem like he did it because he cared.
Yeah.
It seemed like he did it because it helped him seem like a more trustworthy person.
Yeah, like it helps his cause for the whatever he's trying to build for the resistance thing. Now, this guy's obviously a Looney Tunes motherfucker.
And he doesn't, and the thing, this is interesting because you're a con man, right?
Yeah.
You know how somebody might do something like that for a con? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He doesn't seem like a con man because con men want things. Do you know what I mean? Like con men, like they do things for reasons. And this guy, and this is the part, I don't know how you feel about this at all, but as he's looking at you and as you're looking him in the eyes, he's looking at you as if you were a piece of meat. And not in a hubba hubba kind of a way, but like he doesn't even seem to see you as...
He's not even attracted to me.
No.
What is wrong with him?
Yes.
All right, no,
he's looking at you like you are something interesting.
Yeah, this guy wants to wear my skin as a suit or something, as a winter pelt.
That might be a feeling you get.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's assessing you to see whether or not you're dangerous.
So I'm going to look at him, and I'm going to flash a confident smile. I'm going to, there's going to be a pregnant pause for a moment as I take a slow sip of my coffee and assess him. And I want to give him just a flash of like I'm assessing you. Like, I know you're assessing me right now, but I'm assessing you too. And I'm going to put the coffee down and be like, let me ask you a question.
Of course. Mr. Hawk. Tango. Mr. Tango. Yes? Me?
You're the hawk. I'm the tango.
I am the hawk.
You're the doctor.
Yes.
And I'm a dance enthusiast. So, what do you like to do for fun?
Pardon?
Did you hear me? The fun. What do you like to do for fun? You know, do you like to ski? Do you like to bowl? Do you like to, I don't know, put people on meat hooks or something in your
that is so funny.
In your attic? I don't know what you like to do. What do you like to do for funsies?
That is funny. It's funny that you say that. People don't. I don't. This is not a time for fun. This is time for working to make the world a better place.
Well, I think it's a time to reflect on fun. If you don't know what's fun, if you don't know what positive there is to go back to, then what are you even going back to fight for all this, right? What do you love? It shouldn't be hard questions, my friend doctor. I'm just trying to get to know you, trying to get to know your motivation, get to know your heart, where it's at. I know you're working for us. Yes. I know you're working for the resistance. I just, I like to know how my friends feel.
What I love is being able to be alive in this moment. Because...
the thrill of survival?
No, it is, of course, about helping people. The time of the occupation is an opportunity to help the people. There's no greater cause in this moment of chaos, than being able to bring people to freedom. Do you not think so? Mr.
yeah,
Tango.
no, freedom is great. I love freedom. Everyone loves freedom. We all love freedom. Thank you for everything,
Do you need more
my dear
things from
doctor.
me?
Here's what I need from you. I'm going to need you to just let me know if you find anything out that could be useful for the resistance, right? For the
I
people.
am the resistance.
Yes. Yes, you are.
Let me counter.
I was just getting up, but hey, if you want to keep talking, I'll sit right back down.
Oh, just one thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I'll put a knee down on the chair, put a leg out on the here. I'm just going to pose. This is a great pose. What's up, buddy?
I just need one more provoke from you, is what I need. I need your third provoke. This is what I need from you.
As I do that, I'm actually going to munch on the baguette. Like it's just going to crumble down my face.
No, I just need another provoke from you. This is really what I need. He will not like this.
I got nothing, too. I got.
Yeah. All right. He's able to survive
more?
it. He's able to survive it. Right? He's able to survive it. Although you do have that one. You do have that one boost that maybe you want for later. I don't know.
want to use. Yeah. I want to use this boost now. Can I use a boost to reroll?
Yes, you can. Or you can just use it to give you the.
Oh, let me see what he rolls. And
I rolled a -1.
Oh, you rolled the -1.
Yeah, but he's got a 2, so he's at a 1. So you would just end up tying.
I would like to tie.
And so he doesn't take any sort of like mental stress, but you keep your boost on him.
Yeah.
But you are needling
I'm
him.
just still doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, you are, and like you can tell, right? There's like this little dance that's happening between you.
Yeah.
And he looks at you and he says, I would appreciate if you find anyone who needs rescuing, saving, freedom, who needs to leave Paris and not be here anymore, you can bring them to me. You can tell them about me.
Is there anybody else in this cafe?
There is the cafe owner, like the guy behind the desk, and he's sort of like the guy with the comb over, sort of a little pudgy. And people are it's pretty empty. Sometimes people will come in and get a baguette and leave.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You would do that for me, would you not? Huh?
I'm gonna look at him and I'm gonna say, it's been a day. It's been a week. It's been there's been a lot of things going on. Maybe I should definitely gonna take your advice as I pat my pocket.
The doctor knows best.
A doctor does know best. Tell me, doctor, do you like the hunt?
I do.
Yeah.
That is why I chose the name Hook.
Of course. No, I had a suspicion.
Who does not love the hunt, huh? Is that not what you do? You hunt Nazis? Huh?
I dance with the world. I try to feel that excitement, and I try to just dance around everyone I can. And some people can keep up and some people can't. And I'm going to square my eyes right at him. And I'd be like, I don't know about you. You don't actually have me completely convinced, Dr. Hawk. Because I think you like to hunt a little too much. And I think that if you want to play more games, this is not the time or place to play games. But if you want to, then play a game with me sometime.
Mr. Tango.
You can learn how to dance, and maybe I will learn how to hunt the way you do.
Mr. Tango. This is the best time. It is the best time. And he stands up. And he says, I will leave you. But remember, you took all of the paperwork that I gave you. Remember that, always. And he steps out of the cafe. And he turns left and he starts walking down the street.
I'm going to stealth, and I'm going to follow him.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I need that roll. I need that roll from you.
God, this fucking roll. Every roll right now, when you don't have fate points,
It's tense.
That's
It's tense.
intense.
You have one boost, though.
Yeah.
Oh. It's a
See
1.
what happens there.
He's got a 0. I feel like his awareness would be let me think. He's got a 1, 1, 2. He's probably got a 3. I know what his 3 is. So I think that his awareness would be a 1. Sort of looking at.
So we're tied?
Yeah, you're tied. But you do have a boost.
Okay. I'm actually going to take that boost.
Mm-hmm.
So that way I can follow him.
Yeah.
And I'm going to follow him to wherever he goes.
So that boost, which is needling him, what does that mean? What that means is that you have rattled him a little bit. Do you know what I mean? You're talking this is a whole thing, but this is not a conversation he's had with most people. So he's a little rattled. And as you're
I imagine he's a brilliant man in his own right. He's not charismatic, but there's difference between being charismatic and just being really intelligent and being able to just walk through a conversation and dialogue. Yeah.
And he I would say is just a little thrown off his game, just enough that you're able to slip through the sort of the Sunday crowds following him. And he walks through the city, and you notice, it becomes very clear to you that he's walking carefully to make sure that no one's following him, taking a few turns here or there.
Few unnecessary turns. But you don't lose him. And he goes to a street. There's an apartment, 21 Rue Les Sœurs. And it's just this sort of nondescript apartment. And he looks both ways before going into this apartment. And he walks in the door and up, like there's a little stairwell into this apartment. Mm-hmm. Do you follow or do you wait? I follow because this might be where he lives. God, I don't know. I mean, obviously being very careful. At a certain point, I'd love to get like a newspaper and I'm just kind of reading a newspaper or something, or trying to do my best to just blend into the crowd. Once I get into the apartment, doing the same thing, just kind of keeping a newspaper up, but looking around the hallway, making sure, and just trying to get a gauge if he's going into his apartment or if he's doing something.
He goes up to an apartment on the top floor. And do you follow?
Well, with the creepy music,
I'm just asking. I'm just asking.
Yeah, when the creepy music starts, that's when Tango tiptoes like a cartoon character.
You begin to tiptoe and you hear the door behind you open. And you see a family. You see a man, a woman, 2 daughters. They're wearing the yellow star. And they come in looking a bit nervous, a bit uncertain. It does not seem as this is at their place. They are a bit, Like, you know, when you walk into a place that is like your building, you know it very well. They don't have that look. They have a look like this is a strange place to them, and they
Right.
come
They're
in
not
behind
sure
you.
where all the restrooms are.
Yeah.
They don't. Yeah, they're not used to the.
Yeah.
Yeah, to any of the. Yeah.
And they are coming in, and they also are carrying like the woman's purse is a little bit too large. They're wearing sort of heavy coats in May. You would not be able to carry luggage. That would be far too obvious, with checkpoints everywhere and with Nazi soldiers everywhere. But they're awfully dressed, and her bag's a little too big, and they look a little scared as they sort of come into this building. And
Okay.
they're going to move past you.
Okay. I'll let them move past me.
And they go all the way up to the top of this apartment, and they knock on the door where the hawk went in.
Okay. Then I am going to wait and see what happens.
And you hear him open the door, and there's sort of hushed discussions up there as he ushers them into this apartment.
Okay. He probably closes the door.
And he does.
I am going to immediately as the door closes, I'm going to go right up to the door, lean with my back against, like right next to the door, lean my back. Like
There's a plate on the door, a nameplate.
Say.
And this is for all of you people in chat who want to go Google things. It says Dr. Marcel Petillon, Petiot. He's a medical doctor.
Well, I'm not allowed to Google right now. I'm playing.
You are not allowed to Google.
All right. So I'm going to take note of that. I'm going to, put my newspaper up like I'm just hanging out. But I'm going to
Can I have
try to
awareness?
listen.
That's what I want from you.
Yeah. 2.
Okay. Enough. What are you listening for?
I am listening for conversation. And if there is no conversation, then I'm listening for any signs of struggle or anything of that nature.
There's just a small conversation. Not too much. It seems all very fine. You hear him talking. Very, very calm. Very calm. And he says, "Oh, well, of course we can. Also, however, you smell something. There's a smell coming out of this apartment. Smells to you like quicklime, chemicals, acid." And you hear him speaking to this family, and he says, "Do not worry. I will help you get out of the country. I can help you get into Spain. Do you have the 25,000 francs per person? That is what I will need in order to pay the way for you to get out of the country. I need your belongings, your valuables, is what I need. And then, of course, there's one other thing that we need, and this is, of course, medical. You will need an inoculation if you want to get into Spain. You must have all of your inoculations up to date. And, of course, I can give them to you as I am a medical doctor. Just sit right here, and I will give you all inoculations. One moment, please."
All right. As I hear that, I'm trying to make this whole call. Like I know I'm going crazy, and every
you have one boost, correct?
Yeah, I have one boost.
Yep.
So I'm just trying to play it out right now. I'm just going down. It's like,
there you go. And now, for you, madame.
I'm going to try the door. Is it locked?
It is locked.
I'm going to now throw my newspaper, calmly kind of look down as if I'm just inspecting the door, and I'm going to take my tradecraft and I'm going to attempt to get through the door.
Roll that tradecraft. That is exactly what you use that skill for.
It's a 5.
Okay. You also get a boost.
Yes.
Because that is very, very good. And I think your boost is element of surprise. Because you were so silent. I want you to tell me how you get through this door quickly, silently, perfectly, to get a surprise on whatever might be happening on the other side.
So I reach into the same kind of pouch like I probably have my tradecraft. I probably have like some of the same stuff I do that. And I mean, just with the just calm yourself, like that whole like Zen moment, and time slows down. And I'm just going to pick it like almost like I pick this thing 100,000 times in my lifetime, right? Just pick this door clean. And just like watching myself in a third person, I'm going to just ever so slowly just turn the knob and just push it open. And as I do that, I'm going to reach for my gun with the other hand. And I'm going to slowly move my way into the room as to try to get the exact, I know, we're all on our heads, right?
I know. I'm so excited.
Because at this point, I don't know if I'm crazy and just maybe this whole thing is made up. Like in my mind, it's, Tango is going nuts right now.
Yeah.
And he's having a really hard time figuring out what's right from what's wrong and who's the bad guy, who's the good guy. And this guy seemingly, and all he has to go on is a gut feeling that this is a creepy dude. This is a dude who is just doing bad things, but he's seemingly doing such good things too. And everything he can hear from just sounds shady, just sounds wrong.
He's just giving people inoculations.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, he's just giving people inoculations that Tango doesn't think they need. He doesn't think they need, by the way, to give them all their money, their clothes, or their not their clothes, but all their belongings. And then he's going to, knock them out? No, that's not the way we do business around here. So he is stealthily moving into a corner and trying to figure out the best angle to just look around and see if everything looks creepy, like, does it look as bad as he fears it looks? Because he's also going to aim the gun.
I'm going to need a couple things for you for that one.
Yeah, exactly.
One, I'm going to tell you what you see, and then I'm going to need you to make a shoot roll to create advantage.
Yeah.
All right, because you're not attacking, you're going to aim, and that's a... I'm going to
aim.
Give me the shoot roll first.
All right. This is as I'm stealthily.
Actually, also give me stealth, too.
Okay.
Give me stealth. Oh,
3.
that's good.
Shit. Yes, finally.
Let me roll his awareness.
I roll better in the end of the game. And
Okay. So we need to do a couple of things here, right? There are a couple of things that have to happen. So
I'm sweating.
You beat him by 4 on that stealth, which means you get a boost.
Yes.
Right? And so your boost is you have the drop.
Yeah.
You also have the boost. This is important. You have that 1 boost. You have the drop. You have the second boost, element of surprise.
Yes.
And now that shoot is a 2. But I'm going to say that because of that, what happened, that he cannot defend. So you make it by 2.
Yes.
So you are able to create an advantage with 2 free invokes. And that advantage is that you have him in your sights.
Yeah. So I have it in my sights. I have him in my sights.
And let me tell you what you see.
What do I see?
You walk into this office, and it's sunny and it's bright. It looks like a doctor's office. This is clearly an apartment. You would think this would be like maybe the living room. There's clearly also, probably there's a door to some other space. Maybe a bedroom, perhaps, right? But this seems to be an office. And you have this family, and you have just slipped in such a way that none of them even see you. And you have the mother, the father, these 2 daughters. And the father is rolling down his sleeve because he's clearly gotten this inoculation. The mother has just gotten this inoculation, and you can see the needle. He's got a syringe being taken out of her arm. And he sort of very, very properly sort of puts the gauze and some tape to cover it up, as you would, as a normal person would when they're giving someone an inoculation. There's nothing strange about that. And you have these two children, these two daughters. They are 10 and 14, and they are taking off their coats so that they too can be inoculated. And there's a vase, a green vase with yellow flowers on this table. And there are magazines, photoplay magazines on a small, also there on this table. And there's a couch, and there are little paintings on the wall. And everything seems fine. It seems normal. Nothing, there are no meat hooks. There's nothing strange. There's just that smell. There's this smell of quicklime, some kind of chemical smell that's coming from the door. The other side of the door, there's this smell. And he's smiling at the little girl that is moving to get on this chair. And he's smiling at her so warmly, except there's no warmth in his eyes, as he just says, "Ah, you will be next for your inoculation, my dear." And you've slipped into a corner of this room, and you have your gun pointed at this doctor.
Yeah. I'm going to close my eyes for a second. I'm going to be like, I hope this is real. Go with your gut. This is... You know a monster when you see it.
What if you're wrong?
Shut up, other voice.
What if you're wrong? What if this is normal? What if it's just you?
No, I know monsters now. I've seen them. I've been a monster. I've run with monsters. I've laughed with monsters. I've drank with monsters.
Can you do this?
Can I do this again?
Can you do this again? That's what I'm asking you.
Can I do this again? Mm-hmm. Is that what you're asking?
That is what I'm asking.
Is that what you're asking me? Shut up. I can get yourself together.
No, you can't do this. You can't do this.
You don't know me anymore.
You might be killing an innocent man.
And
can you do this in front of these children?
I shoot and I say to myself, I'm going to have to.
I need you to roll your shoot.
By the way, can I have a voice in my head now? I think that I would deserve one.
The voice goes silent as you pull the trigger.
That's a 5.
Okay.
That's a 5.
I'm going to roll my defense. Just my little athletic defense. That's a -1.
That's a -1.
Mm-hmm. You succeed by 6. I will also point out that you currently have 2 boosts that you can use to bring that up to a 10. Plus you have him aimed in your sights, which you can bring that up to a 14.
I don't know if those numbers really mean anything to me anymore, but they are super high.
They are.
What I really want is a nice, clean shot to the head.
You tell me. Yeah. You take him out, and I want you to tell me exactly how you do it. You are in control of this moment.
So as I'm having this conversation with the voice in my head, and everything goes silent, and I just say to myself, I'm going to have to live with myself with this. And I pull the trigger, and it's the best shot. It is lined up perfectly, and I think in the movie moment of this, I take a breath and that's what the audience hears, as then you just hear the deafening sound of the gunshot, and the doctor with his basically the side of his head and probably that creepy smile still on his face and he falls over before he can like he was about to give the shot to
Yes, he
a
was.
girl.
And then you hear screaming.
And then I'm going to get up and I'm just going to look at them and I'm just going to say I don't think he was.
They run out of the apartment.
And he's just going to let him. He's going to let him run. And he's just going to quietly and shaking with a gun in his hand. He's going to look over at the door and he's going to, that they ran out of, and he's just going to close it and lock it. And he's just going to, he knows he can smell the thing coming from the other door. And he's just going like, that door just is so small, but getting bigger in his eyes as he's slowly walking to it, hoping, praying that he's right, hoping he's wrong too, because maybe he helped so many people. Maybe he did. Maybe he wasn't the monster. And if he was the monster, or he wasn't, either way, it's a sad day.
Can I have a will roll from you in about 4 seconds? Not right now, but about 4 seconds.
Yeah, because this is when he completely loses it. I get it. He's gonna open the door, and if not, he's gonna lockpick it.
The door is unlocked. I don't think he was worried.
Yeah. So open the door, gun still in hand.
There's a hallway, and the smell is stronger.
And I walk down this hallway, and it's more of a shuffle, like the craziest anyone's ever seen Tango in his banana shirt. He's probably got an extra couple buttons popped open, not for good, not for a good reason, but he's just disheveled and he's just hobbling over, willing himself, leg by leg, get there.
There's another door, probably to a bedroom.
Another door. I just give up now. No. All right. Yeah. I'm gonna open this door.
You open the door, and you see stacks of clothing. Stacks of clothing for who knows how many people. You see shoes, so many shoes, and you see 2 iron claw foot bathtubs, and you see them filled with quicklime. You see a hacksaw that has flecks of blood on it. You see reading glasses.
Is this even real?
You see spatters of blood on the edge of the bathtubs, but you see no bodies at all. None. The bodies are not here, but the blood on the hacksaw lets you know that they were. And if you look at the clothing in this room, the watches, the glasses,
He only asked for money.
and you see gold teeth on a little stand. Things that would not be dissolved.
It's for money.
So many gold teeth.
And he's just going to.
I need a will roll.
Yeah, I know you do. I don't want to make it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everybody, hold your breath. It's a 1.
The difficulty was a 6.
I'm sure it was.
So that is a 5.
Yeah, and I got nothing.
You're gonna have to take a consequence.
Yeah, I do.
And you're gonna have to take a severe consequence.
I will.
And I want you to tell me, what is the severe consequence you get out of this evening? This moment.
Oh,
You were not taken out.
Like,
but you
the
were so
monsters
close.
are everywhere. I don't know. Like something like always suspicious. Or you as a DM can now just be a voice in my head that I have to like talk to out loud. Like I talk to voices. I talk to, or I speak with the monsters. I don't know.
You could say you hear voices, a voice in your head.
I hear a voice in my head.
Okay. A voice in your head. And here in this moment, as you walk into this room, the smell is overwhelming. It smells of death. And you don't know how many people came here through this office to try to get to freedom, to save themselves from the horrors of the Nazis. But there were a lot of people. You are still standing. There was a gunshot that rang through this apartment. What do you do?
I'm going to take a look around, and I think the autopilot in Tango right now, the training, the autopilot, the guy who just knows like the only rational part of him that's still ticking is saying, get out.
Yeah.
You've done what you've done. Now get out. And but he looks over at all the artifacts and the clothes, and I think something in him died today. Something, some piece of humanity. And he's going to put the gun back into his back belt pocket, his back belt. And he's just going to slowly walk out, maybe with dead eyes. And he's going to walk out this abomination of a room down the hallway. He's going to take a look over just as a double check. He knows it was the most perfect shot he'd ever had. But he's going to look at the doctor one last time.
He is dead.
And he's going to go out the room.
And you walk out onto the street, and there are people laughing. There are people walking down the street, people hand in hand, arm in arm. It's a beautiful day. It's a Sunday. And you see a German soldier with a French woman, and they laugh as they walk down the street, happy. You see kids playing on the street. It's just a beautiful day. And everything is right in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, everything is right in the world.
Or is it?
What time is it at this point? It's like 1 o'clock or something, right?
Yeah, it's like it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Tango is going to find his way to some form of bar that's not Bricktop, some form of place in which he can get a bottle of something, like a nice, good bottle or something.
Before you make your way towards there, but something happens before you make it there.
Of course it does.
Of course it does.
Of course it does.
You hear, Monsieur.
Yeah.
And there's this woman. You first saw her on the same day that you first met the Hawk. She's
She the one who was smoking in the alley? Or?
She's the one that told you that women cannot smoke in public.
Oh, and I was very furious about that.
And she was the one who told you that you looked a little bit too much like you did not belong here, and she gave you that hat to cover things up. She's the one with the deep auburn hair and the brown eyes who looked a little bit tired. She was the one that you asked for a cigarette. And She was the one that, if you remember, laughed when you said your name was Tango, and she said that she used to dance the tango. And if you remember, she slipped a small folded piece of paper into your pocket.
Yeah.
Before she left you, a piece of paper that you never looked at.
I never did. I think about that as soon as I see her too, because A, you mentioned it, but B, I actually had it here in my notes. I never looked at it. I look at her like, hold on. I'm gonna take out the note and read it right in front of her.
It is a newspaper. It's an underground newspaper. It's one sheet. It's clearly made in some sort of underground press. And it is a resistance sheet of paper. And it is telling people to resist the Nazis, and it's telling people that they can continue on, that they can do this fight, and that everyone has to pull together. And it tells you stories of people who've done good things. And it tells you stories of victories, and it tells you stories of what's happening in the war outside of France. And it's just one sheet. It's just one sheet, but it's a sheet that is full of the stories of hope and of knowledge. And it's a week old, so it doesn't have any of the things any of you all have done in Bricktops, but it has stories of the resistance.
I just laugh. I fold it back up in front of her. Madam, I have had one of the worst days of my life today. Can you do me a favor?
Oui, monsieur?
Can you tell me some good news? Or do you know a good place we can go dancing? Right now.
She looks up at the sun. She looks at you. She says, come with me. Come on.
All right.
You look terrible.
I'm not used to that.
No, come with me.
All right.
And she takes you down cobblestone streets of Paris to her apartment. She puts on a record of a tango. And she holds out her hand to dance.
And where are we, by the way? We're at just an apartment?
Her apartment.
Okay.
And her apartment is not large. It's the apartment of a working woman. But it has this record player, this Victrola, and it's got jazz records that you shouldn't be listening to, of course.
Before we begin, madam, do you have a towel of some sort? Some kind of blanket or a towel?
Oui. She goes off to her bathroom. She comes back with a towel. It's a little threadbare.
I'm going to disappear off to the bathroom, and I'm going to take the gun. I'm going to wrap it in a towel and place it. I'm going to place it on somewhere. I just didn't want her to feel that gun whenever we start dancing. I'm going to come back. I'm going to splash some water on my face. I'm going to look in the mirror. And I'm going to probably see for the first time, firsthand, the look of somebody who has gone completely bananas. And I'm going to look at the banana shirt and be like, I've definitely gone completely bananas. Do what I can. And then go back out. Go, madam. Let's tango.
And you dance. And she will roll empathy. She doesn't do so well.
Nobody can help tango right now.
No one can help you right now. She tries. She dances. And maybe you have a lovely time. But the sight of the blood and the voices in your head don't go away.
They don't.
Not right now. But you dance.
I think as we're dancing, from my perspective of how the story is told, it's almost like you hear the music perfectly from her side, right? You hear the tango happening. You see Tango himself smiling and going through the motions of being a charismatic guy, able to dance like a doctor.
Yeah.
Thank you. And that's beautiful and wonderful. Maybe she's having a wonderful time, and her smile is pure. And maybe another, day ago, this would have just raised his spirits, and he would have been right back to old Tango. But he's seeing. Then maybe the camera pans to him, and it's dead eyes looking through her, and it's a whole lot of dissonant chords, almost in a horror film of, like when you're at a great party, you're around your friends, you should be having a good time, but there's something in the back of your mind that just claws at you, and that's what's happening here.
And that is where we end the episode.
Ooh.
That is where we end the episode. Thank you, everyone. There have been amazing ideas for the episode title in chat, and I think we should go with Dead Eyes.
Dead Eyes.
I think we should go for Dead Eyes. I love that.
I like Dead Eyes too. Oh man, how did Tango get stuck with a super serious one?
Because you're Tango. Because you're Tango.
Oh my God.
For the record, the man that Tango killed, breaking history a little bit, was a real person, and was a serial killer who posed as a member of the resistance, but was not, and used that to lure people in who wanted to escape. He charged them 25,000 francs to get out of Paris, and then he injected them with cyanide and then cut up their bodies and then dissolved them with quicklime. And he had 27 confirmed kills, but killed probably at least 60 people, this guy. And what I will say is, you killed this man in 1941, as opposed to when he actually got guillotined and executed in 46. So you, in this alternate universe, saved a lot of people who would have been killed by this serial killer, who used the cover of the war as a way to do his depravity.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's heavy shit. That is heavy.
Yeah, and that's what really happened. Except that you made it better. At what cost?
Yeah. Look, that's the good news, right?
That's the good news.
I let like one of those parents get injected with cyanide. That's fine.
Yeah.
Maybe two? Was it two? Oh,
both of those parents.
They're orphans now, aren't they?
They are orphans now.
Oh, no.
They are.
Oh, I'm sorry, orphan children.
They are.
I'm sorry.
So,
at least they're not dead.
I want to thank Pumpkinberry for those gift subs, and I want to thank Rissa, who has donated 200 bits, because maybe a puppy will help Tango right now.
I don't know. It would take it. Usually, a basket of puppies will help anybody with any situation. I think this is like a pickup truck of puppies.
Oh, I'm sorry. I should say one thing. There's something you should know. One, you clear your mental stress.
Oh, I don't know how that's ever possible, but yeah, okay.
I think the afternoon with Yvette,
the dance, yeah,
the dance would clear the
stop
mental
me
stress
from being a zombie. At least,
basically, you clear your mental stress. My friends, so this is fate, and at the end of a solo episode, I give each player a major milestone, a breakthrough. So our Tango is going to basically level up after this incident, before we move into the very last 2 episodes of this season. So, my dearest Stiver, whom I love more than anything, and that is why I torture you.
Thank you. I love you too. Also, stop torturing me.
Well,
I have a soft heart, my friend. And that was a heavy episode.
The hawk was stalking you the whole season, my friend.
I know.
The whole season.
I know. And that was a great, I really think that battle of, I guess, the verbal battle was really fun.
Yeah.
And then when you find out, like, oh, this guy's not just kind of, I don't know, looks creepy. This is a creepy dude.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, I love that whole play at the end where it's like basically he's talking to himself, and that's where this my new fun severe voice in my head comes from now. So that's great. Thanks for that.
Well, you're welcome. You know, that will, you know, you may be able to get over that in about 2 months.
I'm hoping that voice is always there. Just back and forth, me and you, friends forever. You know? That's what I'm hoping.
So why don't you introduce yourself, tell us who you are, and then give us your moment of the episode.
Ooh, I think, let's see. Oh, no, let me not do the moment yet.
No, moment last.
Sorry, I don't know how you guys are feeling, but that was a bit much. Hello, everybody. I'm James Stiver. I promise I'm a really happy guy.
Chat, don't worry. I'm going to give him a hug after we go offline.
We'll hug it out after this. So my name is James Stiver, and you can find me on some podcasts. I do podcasting stuff. I'm a DM for the Loot and Dagger podcast. I'm a player in a Stellar Arcanum podcast. I am a sometimes guest, sometimes I don't know what I do for North Minor Quest, but they just ask me to come and do voices sometimes, and I do that for them. So outside of that, I am here on Troopers channel occasionally, right? For the last 3 months.
Yes.
And I occasionally stream with Dot. So that's how you may or may not know me. You can find me in any and all things as Holy Stiver. That's Twitter, that's Instagram, and that's all you're getting out of me. So,
and also, he's such a decent human being and so lovely. There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, I think, man, there needs to be a lot more positive energy going around these days. So if we can all just tell somebody, just look over to your left or your right if you're with somebody right now. Tell them one positive thing about them, even if they pissed you off today. Just say something good and nice to them. And if they haven't really earned it, then tell them what they can do to be good, you know?
Yeah.
Just spread positivity. Thank you. But the moment, man, it's between two. The moment I stabbed the dude in the ear, like that was crazy nuts, but real. I think there's two revelations. I think the moments here are the two revelations. The first revelation that we were going to be going, like we're being carried off to be executed.
Yeah.
And this was an execution caused by me. By the Bricktop Brigade. So I was about to be executed by my own doing. That's got to be going to crazy nuts for him too. But thankfully he saved those people.
He did.
Or with the help of a farmer.
But man, and your friend Dirk.
And my friend Dirk. Yeah, that was there's so many great moments or powerful moments. I shouldn't say great. There were a lot of powerful moments. But Dirk being a bro, and Dirk just basically saying, hey, I ain't a bad guy. I just work here. You know? Or they'll kill me. So that was great. And I just think that moment of pulling the trigger, killing the hawk, just creeping in there. And just because at that point he still didn't know, right? He didn't know how. He just had a feeling this guy was a monster, and he had to operate off a gut feeling. And I think he realized he had snapped because he just shot a dude off a gut feeling. So even though he was right, how does that make him look and feel? And you know, that's a very powerful moment when you're ready to end someone's life off of a gut feeling, and you had no evidence other than just talking to a dude and eating and you know, making him angry off of eating his baguette.
But you know what? Here's the thing. If you read first person interviews with members of the Resistance, which I do, because you know,
this is what you do on the weekends.
It's what I do on my weekends.
You sip a Mai Tai cocktail, you sit on the beach, and you read some of these Resistant letters, right?
Everything becomes about instinct. right? They survived based on instinct. They walked into a scene and they were like, no, this isn't right. And then they walked out, and then, it was a trap. That sort of the guts, right? The guts and the training that they had survived. And so this question about what are you going to do with your instinct, right, I think is a powerful one that people dealt with. It helped them survive the war, but then they had to think about what it meant for them when they finished it, right?
Right. Because I guess at that point, how do you try to live life normally when now you train your instinct to tell you whether or not the fight or flight, right?
Yeah. And also you have some laudanum. So as Rissa points out, you have some laudanum.
Yeah, I could use that if I wanted to. Might help with the voices or the shaking.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, it's fine. Although Coldrick says, I'd trust the laudanum from Charlie or Sylvie before Dr. Hawk. But also Dr. Hawk also really liked laudanum. That was a thing historically. I think for me, one of the things that I really loved personally.
What is your favorite part?
Favorite parts? Well, first off, the moment where you killed the hawk was just amazing. Just the way that you slipped in and you just set everything up in this moment. It was beautiful. That you talking to the voice in your head, it was like, oh, that was just such amazing RPing. I was just so in awe of you there. You were so amazing. So good. But then I also loved the really sort of complex feelings you had talking to Sigmund, your black market friend.
Yeah, because I played that. It was one of those things where you're just talking to an old friend. It's like slipping back into that big old skin of who you are.
Yeah. And you, knowing that you were not that person anymore, but that you were, right? You were never him, but you hung out with him, right? And you did business with him. And it was just I love how much I learned about Tango this episode. And I love how much Tango, how much internal stuff was going on with Tango. I thought it was pretty amazing. And I'm really glad I had a chance to go and bring Yvette back. I'm glad I was able to bring her back.
Me too. That was fun.
Yeah,
I like that.
And by the way, from the very beginning, I knew that was a resistance newspaper, an underground newspaper, from day one.
And I never looked at it until
you needed it, I suppose.
Yeah, until my heart needed it.
Yeah, until your heart needed it.
Yeah, love it.
So my friends, this is the end of our episode, and let us wrap it up. Coldrick says Tango's a lot more complex than a Western cowboy in a banana shirt.
Yeah, well, but not anymore. Going back to it. Can't do this anymore.
That's exactly. Yep, you're
going back.
Once we get off stream, Stiver and I will talk about his level up, what he wants to do, and how he wants to deal with that. But I want to thank everybody for being here. All of you who've been here for this episode, thank you. We have a bunch of new people who are watching, and I want to let you know that we do have the archive of all of these episodes, not only in VOD, but also on YouTube, if you wanted to go and watch them. I have to say, I love my cast more than anything, and each of the solo episodes were amazing, and each solo episode had people deal with difficult choices, and they all dealt with those difficult choices in really different ways. And it was so fascinating, and them as a group is pretty amazing. So I recommend heartily you watching the back episodes. It's really good, and I will say we only have 2 more episodes left for this season. Season 1 will end in 2 weeks. I'm very excited to find out what will happen. I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting. I believe that you can do a lot of really great good with historical RPGs, and I have learned a lot jamming it, and I hope everybody else has too. So thank you.
If I can interject here
Please.
for a second, I just want to say that this is the first time when you, I believe it was Gen Con when you mentioned this, and we were both having a lot of fun at Gen Con, we'll say. There's some karaoke involved.
There was karaoke. If
you don't know, Trooper is a karaoke, I don't know, savant. He is just amazing. He's like, what? Here's a microphone. Well, I'll just impress everyone in the freaking world. So, but when he first mentioned this, and you understand, I've only ever played Dungeons and Dragons and Numenera. I played some stuff, but but I've never done like a historical thing. And he's like trying to like, we're in this awesome moment. He's like, hey, I'm thinking about maybe we should, here's this game idea. And when you're given a historical, like, all right, all right, we'll do a Nazi occupied Paris for the French resistance. Like, okay, but where are the goblins? And like, is it going to be a kooky thing? Am I going to, is there like a kooky neighbor that's going to pop out and it's going to be like a sitcom or something? Like, no. But give yourself a chance as a role player. If you're playing these games, give yourself a chance to grow and give yourself a chance to say yes. If it's something that's even outside your comfort zone, just try it. Because I think you'll find I'm having a freaking blast just role playing a serious character. When I told him, like, you realize that most of my characters are like dick and fart jokes and wacky like accents, and he's just like, I don't believe you. I don't believe that's the true role player, Stiver. So believe in yourself and do something different and force yourself out of your comfort zone is what I'm trying to say. And historical stuff like this, I thought in the past was boring, but it's actually really fun, and now I'm a super nerd.
Yes.
Thank you, Trooper, for showing me this.
Thank you, and I want to thank especially everybody who's watching the show, and I want to thank you for one specific reason. Hey, you're hanging out at a French Resistance RPG show. Wah. That's a hard sell, I know it. I believe in it, and I think it's important to do this. I think you can learn so much, and I am glad that you have been here for this journey, because I know I could be running what is it, Dungeon of the Mad Mage or whatever, but this is the show, and so I want to thank you all for being here and supporting.
At any point, by the way, I mean, is there a point when you can run Dungeon of the Mad Mage?
Is
no one will run it for me. Okay,
well, I didn't tell you this actually is Dungeon of the Mad Mage. It's a real different version of it.
Man, this is some indie weird film about it, isn't it? Some obscure director's vision of Dungeon of Mad Mage, but it was told through World War. You know what? I'm done.
So, my friends, thank you. I think Jer gave the socials. If you would like, you can follow or subscribe if you want to. You don't have to, but if you do, you want to. We also have a Discord where you can hang out with us. And I want you to know that I read all of the comments. I usually come back when I watch it to take my notes after the show and read all the comments, and I'm always very happy for them. You know what? Come and join our Discord if you like, and you can see all of the archives of this show. Also, the other World War II historical I did, Night Witches, on YouTube, which is under troopersjp. And also, you can find me on Twitter at Academic Foxhole. And I also have a Patreon, which goes to support this cast, because I feel like Night Witches is powered by the Apocalypse, and then this one is Fate. And also Pumpkinberry was a guest on Night Witches, and it was amazing. So I'm just noting it. And also some Cthulhu Confidential.
But at night.
They're witches at night. So, who are day witches?
Day witches. I've dated a few of those. I can tell.
Yeah. So everyone,
it's
thank
less
you.
Makeup.
Yeah, and if you want to support the Patreon, please do, and that goes to sort of pay the cast, because look, here's the thing. Let's be upfront and real, right? I put the cast through some stuff, and I feel like they deserve a little bit of something I'm
gonna cry
as compensation
and not sleep tonight. So thank you.
No, sleep. Go to sleep. Just sleep. Oh. Everyone, we're going to go and chat about power-ups. Take care of yourselves. Remember this. People before us fought against great injustice in overwhelming odds, and they won. And we can do that too. Right? That's all. Take care of yourselves, and know that we can do it. All right, everyone. Bye. Catch you on the flip side.